hiccup after hiccup after hiccup. Did I just pick a bad day to stream, guys? That's the third time in less than a half hour, but you know what? At the very least, we still haven't gotten to the video reactions, so it's just a TCG Pocket segment, but it doesn't change the fact that I lost, what, 4 matches in a row because of internet issues? Oh my goodness, dude. I am legitimately tilted. I am legitimately tilted. Oh my goodness, dude. You know what? I may as well delete the old VODs. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Let me see. Yeah, for like the third time in not even, what, 30 minutes? Internet is having another hiccup. Guys, like I said, if you ever move to Mexico, don't hire Infinitum. Oh my goodness, man. Got a whole half hour's worth of maintenance, and suddenly it decides to start having issues. You know, maybe I just need to invest in a new Ethernet cord? I don't know, man. Alright, get rid of that VOD. Get rid of that VOD. And you know what? We'll call this one day 4. Instead of day 4.5 or whatever. Although the title is a little misleading, because in this VOD, I am not playing cards whatsoever. I'm just going to put it away for now. You know what? We're at that half-hour mark anyways, so I think it's time we get to the video reactions. But alright. You know, while we're here, we're about halfway done. We're about halfway done through the Best Loud House Episodes video, so I think now's a good time to check out the comments, just for the fun of it. But is everything good? No crashes? No hiccups? Nothing? Everything okay? Can you guys hear me? Oh my goodness, man. This is so... It's so aggravating. It is legitimately so aggravating, man. Yeah, Rockin', I don't blame Sam and Luna for trying, but at the same time, have they? It feels like their relationship, every moment in their relationship, every moment between just the two of them, for the most part, it's either, you know what? Hold on. Okay, before I start running my mouth, let me just make sure everything's good to go as far as the stream is concerned. We got 8 people in chat. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Like the stream. Hit that like button. Wait, if I say that out loud, does it say... For some reason, whenever a YouTube video says... Someone in a YouTube video says hit that like button or whatever, apparently YouTube's UI highlights the like-dislike bar. Does that work for VODs, or is it just for recordings? I'm genuinely curious. I'm guessing it's only for recordings. But even then... Frickin' TCG Pocket, man. You know what? It's mainly it's nah. I want to say it's just an issue with my service provider. I don't think it had anything to do with the emulator, because yesterday we were doing fine. The week before that, last Sunday, we were doing fine. The week before that, last Sunday, the Sunday before that, we were doing fine. But somehow today of all days, it suddenly decided, oh, stream crashed, internet's gone. And I don't want to jinx it, but I want to say we're fine for now. But we'll see. But alright, comments with the best episodes video. We're about halfway through it. We finished number 4. 32 minutes in out of, okay, a little less than halfway through, but still. If I could bring up an issue, I had difficulty understanding and liking the resolution of Lincoln's arc here. Is he talking about the movie? Okay. Full disclosure, guys. I know I said I liked a couple things about the Loud House movie, and it's more or less an honorable mention in this video. But keep in mind, just because I enjoyed it, it doesn't mean most of the movie is good, if not all of it. I can definitely understand the criticisms, and I don't disagree with most of them. I just wanted to be a little optimistic about it, more or less, which is... You know what? Let me show you guys. The Loud House movie review. The Loud House movie is a mediocre trash fire. The Loud House movie is a boring atrocity. The Loud House movie is underwhelming on purpose. Why the Loud House movie fails? Like, can y'all blame me for trying to see the silver linings with this film? Because nobody has anything positive to say about it. At least for this one. To say the least. I had difficulty understanding and liking the resolution to Lincoln's arc here. Like you said, he just wants genuine acknowledgement for his efforts in planning. But I don't think the ending... Yeah, that's my biggest problem with the Loud House movie. It sets up such a decent character arc for Lincoln about doing good because it genuinely... How do I word this? The first movie, the one that dropped on Netflix, where they travel to the Scottish island where they turn out to be nobility. They befriend the dragon, the cranky witch, whatever. Like, I get it. Lincoln's character arc, it had a really good setup, it just had a really lousy execution. But like I said in the comments, I think the ending didn't convey his growth thoroughly, but for the sake of not being too negative in this video, I didn't focus on that. I guess in the grand scheme of things, this video was a little too biased for its own good, more or less. But in the grand scheme of things, I was just trying to be optimistic about this series for a change, because let's be real, with the other two videos, it was nothing but staunch and negative criticism, to say the least. Check reviews for No Time to Spy. You know what? I've never actually seen, let's see. Never actually looked into it. Review. No Time to Spy, full movie analysis. Much better than expected, but... Okay, that's in Spanish. For the sake of my American viewers, I'm not going to look into that. The Loud House No Time to Spy is great. The Loud House No Time to Spy reaction, No Time to Spy movie, and the rest of it is just... I don't know what this is. Alternate ending? What? What? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna keep this muted just for the sake of copyright. Somebody call NASA, blah, blah, blah. The Phil family is crying because Lincoln's trapped in the rocket. What, just cuts to the credits? What? Okay? How does this have 500,000 views? Like, what? Okay, sure. You know what? I'm not gonna play the video because some of you are not gonna understand it. But let's see. Let's see what the comments have to say about it. Lincoln. Remember that time when the show was about relatively normal adventures? Yeah, me neither. Writer? And in the capsule, there was a... You know what? It's a lot of work to translate these. Let me just go back to my comments. There is a time trap alternate ending as well. You know what? If this one is anything to work off of, I'm not getting my hopes up for that one. I can see you hate Sam with a burning passion. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't hate Sam. I just hate the way that she was treated, and I hate what she represents, more or less. I don't hate the character. I wish she was better. But just from that idea alone, she is one of my least favorite characters in the series, but I don't hate any characters. I don't go out of my way of saying, I hate Flip, I hate Chef Pat, I hate Sam Sharp. Like, hating a fictional character to that kind of extreme, it just feels really immature, at least for someone in their 20s like me. Let's see. Okay, but I kind of get why Liam and Lynn didn't get together, because it would be kind of weird for one of Lincoln's friends to be dating his older sister. Violates the bro code. Okay. I did not insinuate, just because Lynn and Liam have genuine romantic chemistry, I'm not insinuating that, okay, she should have kissed him at the end of the episode. Oh, they should get together at the end of the episode. Nothing like that. Just keep building the bond between them. And like I said yesterday, if they ever do get together, then I don't see the problem. And also, what bro code? What bro code? Like, would Lincoln straight up go out of his way to tell Liam, no, you can't date my sister? Like, why? What would he have to gain from that? Let's see. My favorite character of the Loud House is Luna. My favorite... Okay, he just wrote the same comment twice. Like, why does this have 7 likes? Alright. Nice job. There's been a lot of good episodes. Looking forward to season 9 next month. Wow, this was around the time the video first dropped. Yeah, but Fun Plus, she is played by Marcy Wu. I'm guessing they're talking about Stella. And I commented, if I had a nickel for every time my favorite character was a smart girl introduced in a later season, voiced by Haley Ju. I even made a tweet about this. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Voiced by Haley Ju. I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice. Seriously. Maybe my soft spot for Stella stems from the fact that she shares a voice actress with Marcy, my favorite character from Amphibia. Actually, it's the other way around. Because I got into the Loud House before I got into Amphibia, more or less. I see how you're doing, Ticky Tick. We got a couple internet issues, but stream should be good. What's good, Tiki Tick? What's good? You are criminally underrated? Oh, thank you. And that was only 10 days ago. 7 seasons? I thought this had only had 5 and it ended. And yeah, this... I don't mean to provoke any targeted... No, not harassment. I actually meant this comment. You guys can see it in my latest video. Apparently, misinformation is so rampant with this show that people think this show ended with season 5. I don't know who told them that, but they're not paying enough attention. Really good episodes. I may not be a fan of all the hate for Sam and her ship with Luna, but I do agree with the whole Stella and Lincoln thing. Yeah. Apparently a lot of people agree. And thanks for being positive on the Loud House. Okay, I definitely tried to be positive on the Loud House. I will say that. Just because there were a lot of episodes that genuinely won me over. What video comments am I reading? I'm reading the absolute best of the Loud House, my video. My video ranking the best episodes. Is that a Yu-Gi-Oh reference? Yeah. Hold on, let me pause the music. Emily's well-earned unity. Heart of the cards. Guide me. Deal me out. Yeah, I was talking about Deal Me Out. I was talking about Ace Savvy. And we know he's like a card-themed superhero, so that little line of Heart of the Cards, it just felt appropriate. But anyways. Is the music too loud, guys? By all means, let me know. Alright, where did we leave off? I don't know if this means anything, but you showed up. Are we good? Are we good? Can my Ethernet stop fucking around, please? On my laptop, it's fine. On my cell phone, it's fine. But for some reason, on my desktop, it's completely struggling. Oh my goodness, man. Are we good? Are we good? Please. It should be good, but that doesn't detract people from leaving. And honestly, guys, I am so sorry. I am so sorry for these constant issues. If it keeps up, then I'm just going to end the stream. And maybe if I have it in me... No, I'm going to be too exhausted from work to... I'm going to be too exhausted from work tomorrow to stream in the afternoon, but... Yeah, that is Tom the Cat on the screen, but... Can I just roll the music, no problem? Can I just stop having internet issues, please? It looks like the stream... Sometimes you really can't... It just doesn't stop, guys. It just doesn't fucking stop. Are we good? Can I read a freaking comment section in peace without Infinitum biting me in the butt? Please. Is that seriously so much to ask for? Okay, I think we're back. Oh gosh, bro. Good God. Are we good? Chat, type 1 if it's looking good on your end. Like if you can hear what I'm saying without any delays, without any buffering, without any crashing, just type 1 in chat. One. We should be good, but the fact of the matter is, it can go away at any given moment. Oh my goodness, man. What a freaking pain. Alright, back to the comments. And you lost me. Sorry. Time Trap is such a boring episode with messed up implications for no reason. It's a mess. Then I commented, it wouldn't kill you to hear me out. But let's see what he says. I do not agree at all with what you said. I think the motives to the Louds traveling back in time are stupid and not charming. Lori is freaking university. Okay, I talked about this yesterday. Just because Lori is in college, just because she's 18, she's an adult, doesn't mean it's beneath her parents, or any parents for that matter, to ground her. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't pay her own bills. Somehow, I doubt that there's a minor possibility that her scholarship doesn't cover her entire tuition. So she's still dependent on her parents, more or less. They could cut off her phone. She doesn't pay for her own gas money. She doesn't pay for her own phone plan. Her parents have a means of punishing her. How is she gonna get grounded? The Louds not existing shows how certain characters become happier, like Mr. Grouse, who is horrible for so many reasons. I mean, if your neighbors had a household with 11 kids, yeah, I could understand why you're so grouchy. And when they're gone, yeah, it makes sense why he's genuinely, he's a lot less stressed. Yeah, she lives with Mr. Grouse now, but this is talking about a time trap, which was in season 6. The characters are awful. Lenny only exists to make bad jokes and die. Same with Luann, Lynn. Yeah, like I said, there's a problem with the pacing. I can agree with that. The fact that the characters cry when their pets disappeared in one episode, but not when they see their own sisters die, say a lot. They disappear from probably because they're in a hurry to undo their mistakes in the past, to rebuild a time machine and go back to stop themselves. Probably because they're in a hurry. They don't have the time to mourn. But like I said, there's an issue with the pacing, so I understand that. And finally, the plot makes zero sense. It's time travel. The fact that Lori dies first, but the van disappears after that is pure garbage. Bro, that's just a minor continuity error. It doesn't undermine the plot in any way. Yeah, Vanzilla disappeared because since their parents never had their kids, they never had the need for the family wagon, so it disappears. Yeah, Lori should have disappeared before the van, to say the least. So, is this really all it takes for you to... Okay, one, this comment did not even talk about what I was talking about in the video, what I actually liked about the episode. And secondly, a lot of these complaints are just... They just feel like nitpicks. So, I don't get it. How is this your least favorite episode? How do you dislike this episode so much? And it's not the first time this commenter has told me that. I don't get it. The Loud House movie is underrated. Okay, I don't disagree too much, but yeah, I'm guessing they never adopted the pets in Time Trap. Yeah, if they never had 11 kids, then why would they ever is it really that surprising that they didn't have their 4 pets either? Like the dog, the cat, the bird, and the hamster? We don't see the pets very often. I feel like in the narrative, they're neglected a little too much, to the point where they feel like they don't exist. But anyways, friendly writing tip, if you already went off on a 30-minute plus tangent in your last video about Saluna being trash, which I agree with, you don't need to keep bringing it up. I mean, I only brought it up for context, man. As far as this video is concerned, I only brought it up for context, not because I actually had something to say about them, for the most part. Yeah, I went on about a 1-minute tangent about another instance of Sam derailing Luna's character, but that's about it. It comes off as repetitive and unnecessary. Yeah, I can see why people get tired of it. If you make more Loud House videos, I recommend not bringing it up anymore, as I think you've said all you need to and made your points clear. Hopefully. Bro, that's fine. Mudkip is the GOAT. Wait, what does he mean? I mean, look at me. Behind this. Hold on. I swear, if the guys, I swear, I'm a little paranoid. I'm a little paranoid about the fact that the internet could crash on me at any given moment. We are 1 hour into streaming, and it has crashed like, what, 5 different times? Anyways. Mudkip, I'm a grown man with a full-time job, but I still like Pokemon, and I'm critiquing a children's cartoon for strangers on the internet. Wow, Ira was right. Okay, that's what he means.
Pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source.
Did I not make it clear that... I'm not ashamed of liking Pokemon? Okay, I guess the guys just misconstrued it without watching the video. Okay, one thing I've come to learn as I've been making more and more videos, people do not watch them in their entirety before commenting. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a little frustrating. Where the hell did the mouse go? Hello? Okay, now it's just lagging. What are we doing, man? Can I get the music back? Thank you. Good God. Alright, where did we leave off? Ironically, Save Royal Woods and Time Trap are some of my least favorite episodes in the series. Yeah, okay, Time Trap, I understand there's a few inconsistencies, but Save Royal Woods? Is there a reason why people don't like it? Okay, where the hell is my mouse? Oh my goodness, man. Okay, for some reason my mouse is completely invisible. Hold on, guys. Bro, technical issue after technical... Are we back? Is my internet gonna stop screwing around? Can I please just read my comments in peace? Please and thank you. If it's not my internet, it's my mouse. If it's not my mouse, it's something else. My goodness, man. We're not strangers, we're brothers in Christ. Okay, at the point in time where I uploaded this video, we were more or less strangers. Seriously though, is there a reason why people don't like Royal Woods? Like, I made my reasons clear. Just because the last song? Okay, there's the problems with Flip. There's those problems with the last song that I talked about. For a song that's supposed to be a tribute to the show's history, it doesn't exactly focus on the right ideas. I have a few nitpicks about Save Royal Woods, but really? People consider it their least favorite? I changed my mind. Neither Savino nor the current writers know how good romance when they see it. This is terrible. Not really because kids show, but still, and thus makes no wonder how plentiful the amount of fixed fanfics there are because the writing is that egregious. Yeah, I agree. Lincoln and Stella, done dirty. Lenny and Gavin? Gavin only had 2 episodes worth of appearances. One of them is one of the worst episodes in the series, Force of Habits. And the other one, it wasn't really focused on Gavin. It was more so focused on Lenny and Miguel, more or less. You know, I'm surprised no one does more videos. Like, seriously, if you take away the toxic fandom, the show is pretty solid. Kinda. Also, it's one of the few shows I am not sick and tired of for some reason. Yeah, totally unbiased opinion here with a Lynn Loud profile icon. As for Lincoln's love life, yeah, he should be with Ronnie Ann or Stella. I think it should be Stella, not unquestionably Stella. Please tell me the internet's fine. Please tell me people are still here and I'm not just talking to a wall, because The whole reason I wanted to start these streams in the first place was so people would listen to my opinions. Anyways, Time Trap is a bad episode for me. I love the theme, but it ruins the simplicity of the show. Yeah, this, like I said, this Time Trap is pretty much the only instance where I let the supernatural gimmick slide, because they actually made it relatively interesting, more or less. They didn't just throw it in for the hell of it. Keep it up. Nice vid. I love this show, but it has some bad episodes. Yeah, I told them, you don't have to tell me twice. I got a whole list of those.
One step at a time.
Somebody just subscribed. Ray's Random Vids. Thank you so much for subscribing. But I will say this though, guys. If it keeps crashing, then I'm probably gonna end the stream and save it for another time. I'm sorry, but the movie to me is just boring and it doesn't reflect the show at all. Yeah, like I said, for the most part, it's got way too many problems to the point where, yeah, it's not a good reflection of the show. There's a couple parts I enjoyed to the point where I made it an honorable mention in this video, but yeah, I'm not gonna disagree that I'm not gonna
One step at a time.
say that it's a good movie, more or less. We got another subscriber that I can't see. Earlier, I think your comment to be talking about Saluna trying for each other, and you said that in your opinion, every moment with the two of them, it just felt either. Is that when the internet crashed? What was I saying? I was saying every moment between them that is specifically focused on just the two of them, it just feels like I actually talked about this in my worst episode. Wait. It looks fine on my end, guys, so... Are we good? Assuming my monitor isn't lying to me, we should be good. I think. But as far as your comment is concerned, Rockin' D, let me see if I can find exactly what I'm referring to. I don't remember exactly what point in the video it is, but let's see. Here. Let's see. Let me put captions on in case you guys can't hear what I'm saying.
Ouch.
And raise the volume too. How is it that 6 seasons later, not one moment of this girl reflects any real individuality? Yeah, even after everything I've seen from season 9, everything I said in this part, it still checks out. Or genuine importance to Luna. And when it's tried, it's arbitrary, forced as hell, or both. Arbitrary, forced, or both. Like, wow, watching a scary movie in the movie theater and holding hands. Totally not just generic couple behavior. Then just screwing around with the pie. After admitting, oh, we have nothing in common. We don't know anything about each other, even though we're supposedly close friends. But then they mess around while baking a pie, and suddenly they're laughing, they're happy, with no genuine or organic explanation as to why that is. Like, this friendship, their romantic relationship, let alone their friendship, just feels botched. Know what I mean? And when you compare it to the other romantic couples in the show, of the Loud Sisters, it's even more egregious. Who else? Okay, Frost Shooter, it looks like it's good for now. So I want to believe... You know what, let me refresh the page. Hold on. I want to believe everything is good for now. It's not crashing again. You know what, if it crashes again, let me know, guys. Just comment, dang it, whatever, again, bruh. Like, yeah, what John and Frost Shooter did. Yeah, I guess I am a little persistent. But back to what I was saying, Rockin'. When you compare her to the other romantic couples, they just really pale in comparison. In terms of chemistry, in terms of their interactions, in terms of everything, really. Can tell Lori that she's the best thing that ever happened to him after a series of failed romantic gestures and actually mean it. Who else can help Luann realize that her playful tendencies are too much for their workplace and fire her with a sense of mercy? Like, straight up. they just bring out like these Benny, Bobby, and maybe even Gavin in some capacity. They actually bring out character development in Lori, Luann, and Lenny respectively. As for Sam, what has she done with Luna? Who else can play a boombox outside of Lenny's window because he knows she loves the idea of hearing the music? The reveal that they were supposedly close friends prior wasn't until way later, to be fair. It was actually almost immediately after. The graphic novel where they confirmed that information, it dropped about 2 months after Racing Hearts aired. So, I feel like they did not plan this through. We don't know how many ideas that got rejected that could have deepened Luna's relationship, and yet people still glaze Luna like it's one of the best things about the show. The only other person I know that I found throughout YouTube that actually made a best episodes of the Loud House video, I forgot what his name was, but yeah, apparently his like number 3 choice, his number 4 choice is like, oh, every episode involving Luna and Sam, just because they behave like a normal couple. That's it. Really no other criteria from what I remember watching. Music in question, like, that's it. Like that's your bare minimum, man. Like I don't know, man. I just strongly disagree, to say the least. Anyways, we're done reading the comments in this video, so let's get back to where we left off, hopefully. But first, guys, I kind of got to go to the bathroom. Not gonna lie. I guess the internet crashing constantly really stressed me out, and also I got to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back.
Laid low by their scars, a people wounded but free. Seek what lies beyond this dark age. The seasons they turn, winter to spring, dulling the pain and erasing the sting. The seasons turn, summer to fall, time's warm embrace begins to heal all. On the wild at first light, the Jasper lion will run. Hark an anthem, ye drums, can you hear? The people fresh from the night rise and listen as one. The land that they were promised is near. A world riven by pride repaired at last. And now its makers can be at rest. Our vision come to pass. The seasons they turn, memory fades, but when my name has been lost to the grave, I will sustain you year after year. I will protect you in dangers of here, and though I this is your song. I am the earth, I will make you strong.
Okay, I'm back. I'm relieved. Please tell me... It crashed while I was gone, didn't it? It crashed while I was gone. Apparently chat disconnected for a moment. I don't know how long it lasted. I wasn't gone for even 5 minutes. I wasn't gone for even 5 minutes, so I'd like to believe the crash wasn't too serious. Alright, let me get rid of this. I think the fact that they took a bold risk that tons of other kids' cartoons never really attempted to, and without falling victim to the usual gay lesbian stereotypes, is... But other kids' shows have already accomplished that, without any need for stereotypes. Legend of Korra, She-Ra, and the Prince... She-Ra apparently has a gay romance. Gravity Falls has the cops. Okay, you know what? You know what? I can't give Gravity Falls too much credit for once. The cops did come off as a little stereotypical. They were just a little too fruity, more or less. But if that's the we are 6 seasons into this supposed relationship. You'd think they'd bother expanding it in any capacity, but no. I'm gonna put it this way: I feel nothing with when these two interact, and it's kind of sad. It's not the deepest relationship in the series. It's not really deep at all, and that's my problem with it. Luann and Benny will never be banned anywhere for being... Luann and Benny, Lincoln and Stella will never be banned anywhere for being themselves. Well, that's more or less for unrelated reasons. There's some rarity on it, but in 2025, you can't really hinge on that anymore. It's 2025. You're Nickelodeon. They gave you the green light for all these diverse characters. They gave you the green light for the gay dads. They gave you the green light for a gay lead with a well, not a gay lead. A lead with a gay romance. They gave you the leads for so much. I have no reason to think that they're censoring you in a major capacity. I know their episodes are banned in other countries, but as far as the entirety of the canon is concerned, there's legitimately no reason to hold back, and they've still done nothing. Nothing meaningful. Nothing emotionally fulfilling. Know what I mean? But alright, I think we're done. The video in question that we're dealing with right now, it has virtually nothing to do with Sam, but so can we please not focus on that, please? I hope I got my points across, and I hope you did too, Rockin' D, to say the least. What a cut, bro. I'm suddenly done talking, and the first thing I hear is, rules of nature! Please tell me somebody in the comments knows where that's from. Somebody in chat, please tell me you know where that's from. Roughing it. Oh my god, this is by far my favorite episode from season 1. Roughing It is just way too good, man. Most boys at Lincoln's age usually do feel genuinely conflicted about whether their sense of masculinity is good enough. Can we really fend for ourselves? Are we strong enough not just for our own sakes, but for the people we care about? And guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button on the stream. I really appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys talking in chat and whatnot, but ultimately, what YouTube cares about the most, as far as the algorithm is concerned, is liking the stream. Can we feel genuinely or to even remotely indulge in what people wouldn't expect out of us? Shows as respectable as Gravity Falls have tackled the subject well enough, and it's done just as efficiently here, if not better. Yeah. Gravity Falls? Dipper versus manliness? Like, the crazy thing is, Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, he felt really conflicted with that episode because it feels like it's stereotypically insulting. But no. Like, Dipper's internal struggle with being brawny, capable, or courageous, like I said, Like, it is perfectly relatable to any boy his age. Even me back when I was 12 years old. Like, I think any boy, especially when you have sisters to say the least, can definitely relate to his struggle of feeling like he's not strong enough, more or less. Balls have tackled the subject well enough, and it's done just as efficiently here, if not better. Most, if not all, young boys have felt like they have to reach a certain level of brawny, courageous, or capable in general. For a kid who has shown time and time again how much he loves his sisters, even this early in the show's runtime. Yeah. It's only the 20th episode, and I am totally sold on the fact that Lincoln really cares about his sisters in a genuinely loving way, to say the least. There's no doubt that these questions are a lot more overwhelming, at least when Laurie accidentally helps him realize that. The boy who's been surrounded by girls his whole life, paints their nails, sews for them, coaches for beauty pageants, gets mud facials, and watches what's basically The Bachelor with them. Okay, that is... I'm not sure if it undermines masculinity in any way, but yeah, I'm not a fan of The Bachelor. It's just way too cliche, way too predictable, and it's been going on for way too long. Okay, that's a biggie. Gets the impression that he might be too effeminate for his own good. In hopes of remedying that, he organizes a notably dangerous, literally, hiking trip with Clyde, and it goes about how you would expect. With how yeah. He's like, wait, am I too girly? Am I hanging out with too many girls? So he's like, fuck it, let's go on this camping trip. Like, honestly, perfectly normal behavior for an 11-year-old boy. Also, this whole idea was, they unsurprisingly can't even build a tent. And of course, it all falls flat in his face. Properly, they refuse to eat normal food, and he's basically being stereotypically stubborn and disgusting to compensate for his supposed femininity. See? It's you know what? Let me let the video talk before I say anything. Wow, fart jokes and male stereotypes that actually play into the plot meaningfully? How did they manage to screw this up 3 episodes later? It's so simple. If you're gonna make like fart jokes or stereotype a boy in any capacity, make sure it serves a genuine purpose in the narrative. With one of the boys, it was just fart jokes for the sake of fart jokes. With this episode, it emphasizes how being hyper fixated on masculinity can genuinely be problematic without being too preachy about it. It's so easy, man. But here we are with this god-awful episode, to say the least. After all that, it's basically just Tom and Jerry levels of slapstick, and I love it. Yeah, the slapstick in this episode is just through the roof, man. I love it. They wake up with their mattress on water, the mattress pops and sends them flying, they accidentally break a beehive, they lie on a rock that turned out to be a wild moose. Like, who comes up with, like, it's so silly, man, but in the best of ways. And Lincoln realizes that he's perfectly in over his head for an 11-year-old trying to prove he's manly. Only for what he was trying to undo to be his saving... Most of the time, it's Lincoln himself or Lynn Jr. Like, I will give respect to Chris Savino in one capacity. He said in an interview at some point, hey, if we're going to make fart jokes, we better make them meaningful. But then again, there have been occasions where it really doesn't reflect. That doesn't seem to be the case. But I appreciate the fact that he acknowledges the principle, to say the least. Grace on another example would be that one episode where Lynn and Lucy are fighting, and Lynn sleeps in Lincoln's room, and she does like a Dutch oven, which is disgusting, by the way. I think it's called Space Invaders, something like that. Several occasions. He learned from Lucy to play dead to survive a bear, which is scientifically accurate. Yeah, that surprised me as well. I don't know how the goth sister of all people knows that, but hey, more power to the writers. Learned to keep balance across a narrow surface from Lola's pageant work, sewed ponchos out of leaves thanks to Lenny, lifted heavy objects efficiently thanks to Lynn. Yeah. He learned so much from his sisters that have virtually nothing that are essentially not really feminine or masculine in any capacity. They're just basic survival tips. Made ropes thanks to strand making with Luna, and used mud to treat as poison ivy like Laurie taught him from the facials. Except for the mud facials, but you know what? That doesn't change my point. Also scientifically accurate, mind you. Notice anything about most of what I just listed there? Most of it was never truly feminine, and none of it ever truly undermined his masculinity. If anything, it enhanced it, and more notably, it saved his life. Yeah. Biggest point. Everything he learned from his sisters at this point, it saved his life. Even with all these circumstances, his masculinity was always perfectly balanced. Like, everything he learned from his sister's years, is sewing a poncho really inherently feminine? I don't think so, more or less. Mud facials, you can make a case for him, but even then, it's still a reach. As for the rest of what he did, making strands, learning to walk properly, none of it is really inherently feminine or masculine by any means. Know what I mean? And that's the point. Especially for an 11-year-old. It's not like his sisters ever did anything to undermine it, like having him wear high heels until he's okay, dude. You're really pushing. Yeah. That's the one. Okay, you know what? This whole episode, beg, borrow, and steal. It was meh for the most part, but the ending I definitely did not enjoy. Not because they got an 11-year-old wearing high heels or anything in an attempt to degrade his masculinity. It's just, it feels a little contradictory considering everything I just said. I know these two episodes are like 6 seasons apart, but I think my point still stands. Just because, well, you guys know how much I respect the show's continuity for whatever it's worth. Instead of Lincoln showing how he survives with 10 sisters like he does most of the time, yeah, they show how they help him survive in general. Yeah, initially, he owed Lola some money, so he put on high heel. He had to wear out a pair of high heels instead of paying his debt. I think that's how it went. But then at the end of the episode, he's like, oh, actually, I'm really comfortable in them now for some reason. Like, is that really the joke you want to end it on, man? Like, I don't know. Anyways. Let me replay what I just said in the video, just for the sake of making my point. Dude, you're really pushing it. Instead of Lincoln showing how he survives with 10 sisters like he does most of the time, they show how they help him survive in general. Yeah. It's a twist on the show's basic premise. 11-year-old boy born in the middle of a family of 10 sisters living in modern suburbia. Instead of him showing us how he survives, we see how they help him survive. It's the show's premise, but in reverse. A pleasant twist on the show's initial premise. It's well written, it's funny, and it's a perfect display of the character our protagonist has and hopefully will become. Also, that little hug he gave Lola at the end of the episode, like, honestly, just icing on the cake, man. Or in this case, icing on the muffin. Might be a bit tough to explain why even in 2025 it can be tough. That's the thing. This movement has gained so much prominence in the United States and even in Mexico throughout the years, to the point where when someone in said movement cries victimhood, it feels disingenuous. It feels fake. Through the people he loves most and the very heart of this series. Okay, you know, like I said, that little hug he gave to Lola, like, that's just, aw. That just, it's so brief, but it makes you go, aw. The people he loves most and the very heart of this series. Also, I do want to try those strawberry muffins. Anyone know how to make any? Like, I don't care how pink they look. I don't care how effeminate they look. I want a strawberry muffin.
Art isn't art unless it's difficult.
Okay, speaking of Sam and Luna. Really loud music. Even amidst all my grievances with some parts of Luna's character development, this is unquestionably one of the best Loud House episodes ever. And the irony is, Kevin Sullivan wrote some of it. I'm not to be too cynical, but I'm probably gonna give most of the credit to Carlos Sakas, because Kevin Sullivan, we've seen time and again how bad his writing really gets sometimes. Oh, Luna. Imagine if the thing most people sadly know you for wasn't a bland as fuck load of contradictions, redundancies, and detriments to your character development done merely for shallow attention. When you put that giant blemish aside, though, no, really, she's not in this episode. Thank you. Yes, I did know this episode aired before Racing Hearts, but part of the problem with Sam's character is that she is underutilized in the worst of ways. She could have easily had a cameo in this episode in some capacity. She could have been jamming with the Louds in the audience at the end, or supporting her by watching her on TV, anything, but this would have been a nice but subtle introduction to Sam, rather than the entirety of Racing Hearts. That a little hypothetical cameo like that would have made me like her a lot more than Racing Hearts ever did. I'll say that much. Credit where credit is due. Luna holds the best episode that revolves around one specific Loud Sister because, honestly, the episode in question is near perfection. While it might not necessarily focus on the heart of the show. What's the latest episode Kevin did? I think an episode from season 9. I think it's called Apartment Complex, where some of the Loud Sisters start screwing around in Lori's apartment because she has better internet, she has better running water, something like that. I forgot what it was called. It's still fun. Surprisingly, that episode turned out fine. But before that, I think it was that one episode from the Europe road trip. Grease is the word. I did not like that episode. It was just so dumb. Fun, it's insightful, its music is enjoyable, it's compelling, and it's visually fascinating. Like, honestly, the visuals throughout the musical numbers, they were just a lot of fun to watch, to say the least. None of the songs feel absurd, and a lot of them feel catchy, to say the least. To say the least. Like I said, guys, I speak a little way too quickly in these streams, and I gotta get into the habit of enunciating my words. The music competition where she needs to write an original song, which she already has, but after hearing the judges' criteria, she realizes that maybe she needs to write something that the whole world will like. She believes she needs a song that can make anyone happy, even at the expense of her musical style. Her feelings are so conflicted that she starts hallucinating her whole family performing musical numbers. Which is a little silly, but you know what? For the sake of the narrative, it's not too questionable. Know what I mean? Only to realize that her mind is basically scouting for what she's looking for, which she finds in a pop song Lily is dancing to, and aw, look at her little step. Prior to today, I actually wasn't sure if Sam actually did briefly cameo in Really Loud Music. If she did, I would have remembered. You'd criticize her for not doing more in a Luna-centric plot. No, that's the thing. In this particular context, a minimal appearance is genuinely acceptable. I'm not saying, like, she would not feel like dead weight. That's my problem. When her appearance, when she's just existing for the sake of existing, that's when I have a problem with Sam. In this particular episode, if they were trying to set up the events of Racing Hearts by giving Sam a minor appearance here, I could understand that. Like, it's a little different, and hopefully you understand why, Rockin' D. Hopefully you understand why. God, is there a single bad or mediocre episode revolving around just this little cutie? Okay, more than one. I will say this, though. 99% of Lily's episodes, they're just innocent and wholesome. Except for this one. This one is just dumb. Going into her dreams to save her, to stop her from having nightmares. Like, it's just dumb. Luna sees that everyone loves the song, and when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Honestly, the diversity. Yeah, throughout that whole pop song, I was like, what's with all these people from different countries? Why are they getting these weird cameos? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But then I remembered. It felt a little forced at first, but then I remembered Luna's motivation.
Because maybe you've got the song the whole world will love.
Like, if an appearance is minor, it can still be meaningful. That's all I'm saying.
The whole world?
What's that? A genuine reason for all these cultures and ethnicities to come together that feels genuine? Isn't mentioned in the moment or shoved in your face? Yeah. It's not like with the Casa Grandes where it doesn't say it out loud, but the whole opening sequence, it feels like it's saying, look guys, it's my Mexican family. Look guys, I'm speaking Spanish. This is totally my Mexican family. Mexican, Mexican, Mexican. Like, there's a certain vibe that every moment in this franchise gives. Know what I mean? I never thought I'd say this in that regard, but well done, Nickelodeon. See, was it that hard to be subtle about it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm really proud of that edit. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't even occur to me until I was editing. Long after I was done with the script for this video. Again, show, don't tell. Luna finds inspiration, and her plan works a little too well. The judges love her song so much that they try to turn her into another predictably successful pop star. They make her ditch her usual outfit, her talent, and even her name. Yeah. They straight up... That guitar they gave her, it has no strings. She's just gonna be... They wanted her to just lip sync the entire performance. She writes a whole pop song from scratch. The judges love it so much, and they're like, you know what? We can turn this girl into the next Sabrina Carpenter or whatever. Or whatever this is supposed to be referencing. Y'all know what I mean. All while spurring her into thinking that if she values success, there are sacrifices to be made. And then it kind of goes to her head. Her whole family tells her, you are literally unrecognizable. Her own parents didn't even thought she was just Lenny's friend or whatever. And then Luna's like, you know what? You guys don't know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing for fame. And when she can't bring herself to compromise everything, the judges threaten to cancel it all. I understand what you mean, but I don't know if it'd make all the difference in Racing Hearts. Slightly, yeah, a slight lead-in or just some implication that there was a genuine friendship between Luna and Sam before they started dating. Because right after Racing Hearts, they published that comic. They said, oh, this is Luna's good friend who Luna has a crush on. Like, are you kidding me? That's all the context you're going to give us? Like, the details of their friendship is so minimal to the point where Luna's insecurities throughout the entirety of L is for Love make even less sense. Indirectly pushing her into thinking about what truly matters in the arts. Yeah, Rock and D, I feel like we're both overthinking it at this point. Do you do what you want to do because you believe in your work and put your mind and heart into it? Or because you're just in it for fame, money, and attention? That's a really polarizing question. Everybody who's ever made a YouTube video, wrote a song, developed a game, live streamed, whatever you want to call it, any attempt to gain fame, are you doing it because you enjoy what you do and because you actually put some thought into it? Or because you just want money? You just need money. Some people, they do need the money, but is that all you're doing it for? Like, there's just a lot to think about. And this episode is a great exemplification of that. Honestly, it's hard to tell sometimes. Most, if not all, artists strive for some semblance of fame and what comes with it. Some do it for genuinely selfish reasons, or to humbly make ends meet at the minimum, and it usually shows in their public image. Others do it because they can't. Yeah, hold on. Minimum, and Keanu Reeves, like, if y'all look into his background, like, he is legitimately one of the most wholesome actors Hollywood has ever had. If they ever do anything to him, there will be riots. Keanu Reeves is the most based actor Hollywood has ever had. Let's be real, guys. It usually shows in their public image. Others do it because they can't get enough of it. Honestly, I would have shown examples of celebrities who do stuff for attention, but do I really need to? How many streamers are under fire because some sort of publicity stunt or something along those lines? Did I spend almost a half hour? Just as an example. Or talking smack about, ironically, you could literally Google, Watch Mojo has a list of top 20 celebrities looking for attention or something along those lines. That tells me everything I need to know. The weakest point of Luna's character simply thinking I would be lauded for it? No, on the contrary. Yeah, when I wrote all those criticisms about Sam, Luna and Sam's relationship and whatnot, yeah, I was expecting to be bombarded with dislikes, to say the least. Or did I pay attention, genuinely realize that it was a disservice to her character with ulterior motives, and humbly wanted my voice to be heard? Like, honestly. Just think about it for a moment, guys. You know, I've talked about it more or less enough. I'll be quick about it. It just so happens that Luna has this close friend that that we didn't know anything about before Luna. It was time for Luna to somehow fall in love with her. Somehow she's a close friend of her, but somehow she doesn't know anything about her by the time of their first date. And also, out of all the Loud Sisters to have a gay love interest, they went with the punk rock stereotype, the punk rock trope, more or less. Like, I don't know, it's just too stereotypical for me to take it to heart, more or less. It's always best to focus on the... Like, there is just so much wrong that I just can't trust it. None of it feels genuine. Nuance and passion of the work you do, and to remember why you do it in the first place. As for Luna, it all kicks in through... Like, guys, just because I show a little bit of flamboyancy doesn't mean I'm secretly attracted to men or anything like that. Like, can we please stop stereotyping people like that? Please? A surprisingly potent song, leading her to make her choice through the music that she originally wrote for this contest in the first place. And let me... Wait, will I get copyrighted if I show You know, if the original video didn't get copyrighted, what are the odds it'll get copyrighted on stream? Play it. I'll just say this right now. Play It Loud is genuinely an absolute banger. I've got no time for turning it down. Play it loud. I'm really proud of that edit, guys. I'm not gonna lie. The Mind If I Praise the Lord guy, I put, please don't copyright me, Nick. Because it was only 10 seconds of the song. And somehow, none of it got copyright claimed. Thank God. Because otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to emphasize my point of how good of a song it is, to say the least. It's almost a crime that it's not even 2 minutes long. And this song is so good, and it never got an extended version. They uploaded, it's on Spotify. I actually have it in my likes playlist, but they straight up just ripped it off from the TV show. They didn't edit out the voice lines. They didn't edit out anything. They didn't make an extended version. I'm telling you, man, the connections between characters aren't the only thing that these people are cheapening out on. It's not the only part where they're being lazy, and it kind of bothers me. Maybe it's a coincidence, but bonus points for the Schoolhouse Rock font. The true-to-life conflict, the character arc, the great message, the nuance, the humor, the visuals. It's got it all. This episode, it just has so much, man. My only complaint is that they should have cut the last 4 words of the dialogue.
Do you know what you've just given up?
Yeah, I know that story, Hernan. Metallica straight up got copyright claimed by themselves while they were performing their own songs on Twitch. You know what? That's karma, because I know Metallica is really stingy with copyright infringement and whatnot, so I'd say that's karma. Get fucked. You know what? I've never listened to Metallica, and I'm glad I haven't, because I really, just on principle, I am not a fan of their songs. And I never was to begin with, so, haha, suck it.
Yeah, but I know what I'm keeping. The real Luna Loud.
Deadass. You did not need those last 4 lines in the dialogue. She had a whole song about identity and compromise in the artistic industry. Like, we did not need to spell it out for the kid. Just because this is a kid show, it doesn't mean you have to spell everything out, Nickelodeon. That's all I will say.
Yeah, but I know what I'm keeping. The real Luna Loud.
The real Luna Loud, just cut those 4 lines from the dialogue, and this episode is legitimately perfect. Imagine how much more powerfully subtle it'd be if that wasn't there.
Do you know?
Guys, do me a favor. I hate to keep repeating myself, but please like the stream. If y'all are enjoying yourselves, which I definitely am, please give a like, hit the like button. Considering the amount of times I had to reset stream because of the internet issues, the likes also reset. So if you got to like again, please do. Please do.
What you've just given up?
Yeah, but I know what I'm keeping.
Yeah, Rockin' D, it's not just you, man. My boss, some of my coworkers, I'm allowed to boot up my Spotify playlist at my office, and I played some. Turns out we like a lot of the same songs. Classic rock from like the 80s and the 20th century, more or less. A lot of pop songs from like the early 2000s. Apparently, my boss and I, we're big fans of Lady Gaga. We're big fans of Ozzy Osbourne. We're big fans of Aerosmith. Turns out I got a lot in common. It's really easy to bond over music. John, I see what you did there. You give love. Ooh, turns out we're also big fans of Bon Jovi. You tripped at the finish line, but hey, you still got first place, so to speak. Well, not literally as far as this video is concerned. Yeah, to a lot of people, Really Loud Music is one of the best episodes in the whole franchise, and if it weren't for one episode, and you guys probably already know what it is, then I would definitely agree entirely. I can see why it's one of the best episodes. It's my second favorite, but there's one that definitely stole the show from me. No pun intended. Also, we got to do the honorable mentions first. So buckle up, guys. Buckle up. One episode left on this list, but just like last time, guys, it's time for a lightning round. Okay, just because it's called a lightning round, I did not need to edit in a lightning sound. Looking back at it, it was a little silly. Episodes that are great in a couple of ways, haven't been mentioned yet, almost made the rankings, or all of the above. Like I said, guys, just because an episode is an honorable mention in this video It doesn't mean it's a good episode overall. There's just a couple things I liked. You know what? Like I said, a couple of ways haven't been great in a couple of ways, haven't been mentioned yet. Almost made the rankings, or all of the above. Mentioned yet? Almost made the rankings, or all of the above. Left in the dark. Oh, of course, I gotta give props to the pilot for... Like, honestly, is there a single... Like, I don't know. It just felt right to give the pilot some credit. The show's pilot. At all, an efficient introduction of each Loud Girl, and a simple enough display of what lies at the center of the series. The self-proclaimed man with a plan shows us how he earned the title while indirectly introducing the audience to his 10 sisters. Making the case. Apparently, a lot of people don't like making the case for whatever reason. First instance of Lincoln showing us that while he may have commonly selfish priorities like any kid his age, he won't hesitate to make things right with his family, even at the expense of that. And even his crush at the time. Yeah. Do y'all even know what this girl is called? Do y'all know what this girl is named? Apparently Lincoln had a crush on her. For a time. A very short time. And honestly, if I didn't know any better, if I didn't research this show extensively the way I did, I'd probably forget her name too, to say the least. Project Loud House. Honestly, it was kind of a toss-up between which of these two I would... Do I have any ideas for shows I want to talk about? A little bit. I do want to talk about a couple episodes of Phineas and Ferb, the new season of Phineas and Ferb. Did Kevin do the first episode? Fortunately, no. Otherwise, yeah. I don't think we'd be standing in this room right now if Kevin actually did the first episode. I think it was Chris Savino and Carla Sakas. Hold on. Efficient introduction above. Left in the dark. Yeah, Savino and Carla. Honestly, it was kind of a toss-up between which of these... Project Loud House. Honestly, it was kind of a toss-up between which of these two I would put on the 10th slot. Ultimately, I went with the alternative, but... Yeah. As far as number 10 in this video is concerned, I wanted to include a good episode from season 1. It was either It's a Loud, Loud, Loud House or Project Loud House, because I like both episodes. This one has a similar idea that's worth appreciating. And they have some things in common that I'll get into. Namely, the idea that no matter how bad things get, Lincoln and his sisters will always have each other's backs. Driving Miss Hazy. Yeah, her name is Christina. Somebody got it. What was Kevin's first episode? I don't know, actually. You know what? Let's look into it. Let's look into it, just for the fun of it. "12 Days of Christmas," Clyde and his dad's, The Sweet Spot. Apparently it was a sweet spot, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about that episode. It just... Is there a lesson? Is there anything meaningful that came out of it? I don't know. I guess I'm more or less indifferent to that episode. But alright. I don't have much to say about this one, just that Lenny is adorable, and it was really clever of Lincoln to teach her how to drive using fashion ideas and terminology. I'm glad she got her driver's license eventually, even if that did take several seasons. Yeah. Like this episode, it ended... The only reason Lenny failed her driver's exam was because Lori sabotaged her. So for a long time, I was wondering to myself, is there ever going to be an episode where Lenny can just get her license no problem? And for some reason, it took them five whole seasons to even try. I'm glad she was successful, more or less, but... And honestly, Lenny's character arc here of lacking the confidence to drive, I think it's acceptable, more or less. And this line is just really funny.
That's the problem. I haven't been speaking Lenny. There's a country named after me.
Okay, that line still makes me laugh. Oh, Lenny, you lovable dumbass. Sleuth or consequences? Like I've said time and again, apparently a lot of people don't like this episode, but I firmly stand by what I said here. The mystery of who clogged the toilet is genuinely engaging, and the audience really has no real means to guess that it was just Lucy until the time comes. Honestly, it was kind of the plot convenience. It was straight up a Deus Ex Machina when it's revealed that Lucy was the culprit. Honestly, Lincoln taking the blame for her is perfectly in character, and I don't think I could have stomached seeing Lucy get teased, presumably to the point of crying. Yeah. When Lincoln's like, hey, you gotta fess up, otherwise I'm gonna miss my convention, but they're gonna tease me. And then right as Lucy was about to confess, he looks at her and he's like, oh gosh, if they tease me this badly for Ace Savvy, imagine how they're gonna tease Lucy for liking My Little Pony. Like, I completely understand what Lincoln's perspective here. I understand why he took the blame. Snowboard. If you want me to make you an OC version of that Pokemon, I forgot the name. Purple Munich, if you don't even know the Pokemon's name, how can I trust you to make an OC of it? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I appreciate the offer, but forgive me for being a little distrusting. Probably Lisa's best episode. Okay, tied for first. Honestly, friend or foe, probably my favorite Lisa episode. Usually when a character becomes hooked on something, you take it at face value, but in a clever twist, she was using reverse psychology in hopes of discouraging the family from wanting. Okay, one thing does bother me here about the video is that I did not give enough context for this episode, but honestly, I was just getting a little exhausted from summarizing every episode I was talking about here. Basically, there's a snow day, and that means school will get canceled, but Lisa has the means to circumvent that because she doesn't like the idea of her siblings neglecting their education, and the same goes for her. But then, the siblings, they try to convince her that snow days can be fun, and they're worth skipping school over. So Lisa pretends to go along with it, and she becomes so obsessed with snowball fights that she harasses everyone with snowballs throughout the whole episode. And turns out, she was just faking it. Snow days all the time. And honestly, the process is really funny. That line out of Lana, like, just, you know what? Not even the line, the delivery, or who said it. Just the line, is nothing sacred. In that context, it's just really funny. Anybody could have said it, and I would have laughed. Who voices Darcy? I actually don't know. Hold on. Speaking of Lisa, though, friend or foe? Did I pronounce that right? Okay. Yeah. Foe. Apparently, it's just foe. F-O-E. Good. Same pronunciation. Basically, the episode that set Lisa apart from... Like, I don't know, the UX just definitely threw me off. All the nerd tropes I've seen in fiction, most of which I'm not a fan of, except for one. Because unlike most of them, this episode humanized her through genuine vulnerabilities, and honestly, her bond with Darcy is perfectly adorable. Yeah, this is... Before this episode, Lisa, she felt like a one-dimensional dork. She's got the lisp, she uses a lot of big words that most people don't understand, like... I don't know. It's just, Lisa, before this episode, she didn't feel like a real person. Know what I mean? Lisa realizes through her that there is a purpose to having friends that, while keeping her character intact, more or less, shouldn't be pragmatic or utilitarian. And it kicks in for her through the mere offer of a cookie. God damn it, this is too cute, man. Also, that's just really wholesome. Two kindergartners sharing a cookie, like, that just you just can't help but go, aww.
It's too cute. It's disgusting.
I swear, man, there is a SpongeBob meme for everything. I will stand by that adamantly. Who is the voice of Darcy, though? I am a little curious, Tracy. So let's look into it. Voice of Darcy the Loud House. Marielle Sheets. Okay, excuse me. I'm trying to read. Ugh. Okay, just some innocent girl. I have no idea who this is. Additional voices in Turning Red. Oh, she was Sally Brown. Oh, she was Sally in the Peanuts movie. Huh. Interesting. Anyways. All the more reason I'm glad they're utilizing Darcy more often in Season 8 so far. On that note, Incognito. Lisa disguises her robot as her to attend Darcy's birthday while she's off meeting an idol of hers. Only to see how much it means to Darcy that she showed up because the latter knows how selectively social and antisocial her best friend usually is. Yeah. This episode is from Season 8. She met Darcy in Season 2. Like, I have no reason to doubt that Darcy understands how her best friend functions by now. She uses big words, she's a little antisocial, like, It all just makes perfect sense. So the resolution for this episode, I'm really sold on it. So it's really endearing to see how she's moved to do the right thing and ditching the liar reveal cliche for good measure. Also, like Darcy straight up says, "I'm really glad you're here, Lisa. I know birthdays aren't your thing, and I know birthdays aren't your thing, but it means a lot to me that you're here." And when Lisa overhears it, she's like, "Damn it, okay, you know what? I actually have to go to that birthday for Darcy's sake." So without context, this line is kind of funny.
He's over there, recovering from his contribution to science.
I don't know why I put that in. I just thought that line was really funny out of context. He's over there recovering from his contribution to science because, let's be real, when does someone not get hurt for the sake of science? I don't know if I'll get another chance to talk about this, so let me take this moment to talk about Todd. I honestly thought I'd get bored of this consistently monotone tone, and he does overstay his welcome here and there. Like, seriously, Todd as a character, when he got introduced, like the way he talks, "Lisa, I am sorry. I believe I have to do this," or something, or just the way he talks, I thought it would get really annoying really fast, but I don't know. I don't know if it grew on me or it was just actually that funny. But Brian Stepanek's voice work really carries it. Also, yeah, he's voiced by Brian Stepanek. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, the voice of Lynn Sr. This guy's got a repertoire, and he's a very talented actor, Brian Stepanek. Also happens to play Lynn Sr. in both versions. Bro, imagine being so talented that you're perfect casting for a guy you only voiced. Yeah. He also does Lynn Sr. in The Really Loud House. Like, how does he manage to be such perfect casting there? Like, what are the odds? One of the very few good things I can say about The Really Loud House, but let's not dwell on that. Yeah, The Really Loud House is so bad, guys. Please, if you're a fan of this franchise, you will avoid this show like the plague. There is little to no redeeming qualities in this version. It's so... To put it loosely, it's boring. It's just boring. Funny business. Basically the episode that made me adore Luann while tackling the idea of positive feedback going to your head through her bond with Lincoln. Like, seriously. Initially, like I said in my first video of the show, like, Luann, she just makes puns every 5 seconds. She was just giving me literally annoying orange vibes, and that immediately drew me away, but after I opened my mind a little, especially with this episode, I was like, you know what? I need to lighten up a little. Luann is really cute. How many 14-year-olds do you know that diligently run their own business, let alone can trust other people to help out reliably in that regard? Also, I will say this. They run their own business, let alone can trust other people to help out. The fact that Lincoln's picture in the ID, the reason he agreed to be Luann's assistant is because she bribed him with chocolate cake. So the fact that he's covered in it in the picture, that's such a small detail, but it's also really cute. Reliably in that regard. Her struggle is perfectly believable, and as far as Lincoln is concerned, it's not uncommon for getting good laughs out of people to be problematically encouraging. Yeah. You make a crowd laugh once, and suddenly you get a huge ego boost, at least if you're immature enough, to say the least. And you know what? He's an 11-year-old boy. Immaturity, it's more... Nah, okay. You know what? I'm not surprised that he behaved the way he did in this episode, to say the least. While I'm mentioning Luann, though, no laughing matter. Wow. An honorable mention for a Kevin Sullivan episode? Color me shocked. I knew at some point she would feel disheartened. Then again, it's not the only one, if I remember correctly. At her comedy being scorned by her family. And I appreciate what the episode is going for here. But the resolution would have been a bit more effective if the family didn't groan at her puns throughout most of the series until this point. Like, seriously. In this episode, she's like... She quits comedy because her family's like, "Oh, Luann's so annoying. Oh, Luann's not funny. Luann's not funny." So she's like, "Okay, I get it. If I'm not funny to my own if I can't make my own family laugh, how am I supposed to make any crowd laugh?" So she gets really disheartened, and the family starts to miss it. But at the same time, before this episode, they never established the idea that Luann was funny to her family at any point. Every time she made a punt up until before this episode, the whole family was always like, they're just rolling their eyes or groaning. So it would have been a little more effective if anyone actually laughed at her puns at this point. Someone in her family, to say the least. Family, and I appreciate what the episode is going for here, but the resolution would have been a bit more effective if the family didn't. I'm grabbing the shotgun? What for, John? What did I do? Why are you grabbing the shotgun? Bro. Hello? I've grown at her puns throughout most of the series until this point. Stage plight. Like I said, okay, just for the sake of emphasis, like I said, Kevin Sullivan, perfectly capable of writing decent episodes, but most of the worst in the franchise can be attributed to his writing. Huh. A loud sibling with real reasons to be reluctant about romantic endeavors through a love interest with an actual personality? How is it that this was done well every time, except ironically in the most popular instance? Yeah. Don't even Alpining Away with Lynn and Henrik, it was actually done well, but that episode, by the time I finished this video, that episode had not aired yet. Not here in Mexico. Answer that. I got about a third of a video's worth of reasons.
Know your place, trash.
I firmly stand by what I said there. I already covered most of what I like about Luann and Benny over there, so there's not much else I can say here. His meek kindness and her playfulness complement each other adorably, which really makes me wish for more episodes involving them. Seriously, how many episodes have we had revolving around Luann and Benny? There's the one where they met. I don't really count Ellis for Love, even though they are mentioned there. There's the one where they got together in Stage Plight, their first date, the one where they're working at the Burp and Burger, and I think it's just those three. I think there's a couple more, but they more so focus on Luann rather than her relationship with Benny. Todd sounds like the robot from Clone High. I've never seen Clone High, so I wouldn't know, Jorge. Sorry. Real life action Loud House, man. Even okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Really Loud House is so bad, man. I'm legitimately surprised. I stomached 2 whole seasons of that. It's so boring, to say the least. All day afternoon. We are 7 seasons in. We know damn well how much Mr. Coconuts means to Luann. So to see... Yeah, Mr. Coconuts has been there since, like, what, the 2nd episode? Since season 1, to say the least. So the fact that we got the lore on him, the fact that his original owner you know what? I'll just let the video tell you what I'm saying. Taken back without warning, while Luann comes to the realization that she should return him, is great character growth. We actually learn how Luann met Mr. Coconuts. His owner wants him back, and Luann's like, I gotta do the right thing. Like, we know how much Mr. Coconuts means to her. Like, the amount of times... Like, y'all remember that episode where Luann started cooking with her dad? And then then Mr. Coconuts went missing because her dad got rid of him so she could focus on cooking. Like, her panic, I felt it. Her panic in this episode, her panic in that episode, I felt it. Even if he ultimately decided to let her keep him. Who voices Mr. Coconuts? I'm pretty sure it's just Luann's voice actress who voices Mr. Coconuts. Oh, the original owner? I actually don't know. Bro's about to rock. As you did it there. The fact that a lot of the... You know what? Let's see who's the voice of... Apparently his name is Calvin Coconuts. Voice of Calvin. You know what? Let's turn on the music. Voiced by Paul Ading. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Hold on. Maybe IMDb will give me a clue. Metal Gear Solid. Wait, he's Grandpa Max in Ben 10? No way. Okay, I like this actor. Okay, I like him. I'm sold. Let's see what else. Shin Megami Tensei, Transformers, Curious George, Frank and Emmett. All right, you know what? Show me everything. Reign of the Superman, The Death of Superman. Okay, he's Grandpa Kent in some Superman iterations. He's the old guy in The Incredibles 2. Oh, okay. Oh, he's in Fire Emblem Heroes. He's the voice of Yukimura. Huh. Interesting. You know what? We're getting a little sidetracked. That is crazy, though. Everything there is to like about Luna Loud, you're probably going to find it here or in Yes Man. I will say, I did not give Yes Man the attention it deserved because it is definitely one of the best episodes in the whole series. Not in my top 8, but it definitely came really close because Yes Man I actually really enjoy. Voting iconic music?
Sorry, bro. I fought the law, and the law won.
I love it when Luna quotes iconic rock music. Check. Or music in general, not necessarily just rock. For amiable exuberance? Check. Character growth that displays her sense of ambition and thoughtfulness? Check. Yeah. The moment Lincoln tells her, yeah, our sisters were right about you. You are very nosy when it comes to first concerts. And she's like, all right, I get it. I'll leave you alone. I'm sorry, bro. Her signature rock star energy being put to good use? Check. Yeah. Homespun. She just radiates charisma. She just radiates charisma and energy to the point where not to a point where it comes off as impulsive or reckless. And that's what I love about this character. It's kind of funny that it took a whole season to get an episode about the literal title of the series. Yeah. It's called The Loud House. And it took a whole season for us to get an episode about the actual house, the house itself. But it delivers nonetheless. The kids reminiscing of all the good times in their somewhat crummy home under the impending fear that... Honestly, Tracy, I was really indifferent to leave Novan behind. I don't know. I think it would have made for a much more interesting plot if they decided to let Vanzilla go and invest in a new car. Because, let's be real, how many times has Vanzilla broken down? How many times... Like, I don't know. Realistically, that car is an accident waiting to happen. I don't know. I feel like they portray its shortcomings a little too cartoonishly. You know what I mean? It's going to be destroyed by a tornado just provokes a lot of genuine endearment and appreciation, both on their end and the audience's. The Old and the Restless and Jerry Antics. Oh. Both of the episodes about Pop Pop, more or less. Like in the first one, Link is just hanging out with his grandpa. And in the other one, well, you know what? Admittedly, I wasn't I'll let the video speak first. Too familiar with Fred Willard's work until after his passing, but what I am familiar with now is pure gold. And here, it's no different for, ironically, relatively different reasons. I would show the other examples, but some of those would definitely get me demonetized. Yeah, when I found out Fred Willard was the voice of the racist teacher in the Boondocks, I was like, wait, what? I just thought to myself, this is such a genuinely wholesome actor, and you mean to tell me they hired him for this? Like, I don't know, the audacity, the courage it takes to do that kind of performance while also being involved with Nickelodeon. Like, I don't know, man. That just takes a special kind of bravery, to say the least. Rest in peace, King. And also, yeah, the whole character of Pop Pop, he feels a little underutilized, but I think that's owed to the fact that Fred Willard passed away in 2020, which honestly, it still makes me really sad that I wish I had known more of his work before his passing. Well, not that I was ever going to meet him in person or anything, but still. Mentioning him, guys, let's have a quick moment of silence out of respect. Yeah, he was about, I don't know how old he was. He was 67? Okay, that's a little young, but still, rest in peace. The whole picture and fandom pains. These two are Who voices Pop Pop now? I actually don't know. Noticeably different in premise and plot, but they have something in common that I think is worth appreciating when you look into it. In the former? Let's see. I'm a little curious. Tracy, I feel like... I don't know why you keep asking me who voices this character and who voices that character, but you know what? It has my curiosity most of the time. Okay, initially it was Fred Willard, but who is it now? Fred Willard all the way until halfway through season 4. Christopher Swindle, a completely different actor, just for one episode, but which one? Resident Upheaval? Okay, it doesn't even... It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do. More or less, has nothing to do with him. And let's see. Beavis and Butthead, Star Wars Young Jedi, Piotr Michael. All the way in season 5, and presumably also in No Time to Spy. Okay. Nothing too surprising though.
He realizes that his childhood memories will be fine thanks to his sisters, even after accidentally deleting the pictures. While in the latter, Lucy realizes that some things are more enjoyable when you're not doing them alone, like watching her vampire show after Lori and Lenny got into it, and then missing their company after some complications. It's not about what we have, what we do, or what we enjoy. It's about who we enjoy it with.
Like, honestly, these kinds of episodes, they just sell you on the bond. They sell you on the bond between Lincoln and his sisters, or even one sister with another sister. In this case, Lucy's bond with Lori and Lenny. Like, they got into a vampire show just because a recognized actor was starring in it. Lucy starts getting annoyed with them, but then she realizes when the character gets killed off and Lori and Lenny stop watching the vampire show with her, she realizes, I really miss my sisters. I enjoyed watching the show with them, even if it was a little annoying at first. Like, it's so simple, but it just sells me on the bond.
Not allowed. Lincoln has to write a report about his birth story, and oh, look at baby Lincoln.
Okay, seriously though, that is a really he makes for a really adorable baby, and the fact that he has Bun Bun in his baby picture, like, that's just really cute continuity. Like, look at it, look at his little head. Look at him.
But unlike his sister's stories, there's no record of his, and mom and dad won't disclose why. So he investigates, and honestly, watching his imagination do half the work while Clyde is just being supportive is just really innocent and charming. He starts thinking that he's not really their kid, then he questions his white hair, and that he might be an adopted superpowered alien.
Yeah, apparently the explanation for his white hair is just because his grandpa, who we were just talking about, Pop Pop, also has white hair. Like, is that really it? How do we know Pop Pop doesn't have white hair just because he's old? You're telling me he had white hair his whole life? It's never explained, but hey.
And then he thinks he might have been switched at birth, but then his parents come clean. He was delivered by the First Lady of the United States in an act of kindness while she was on classified business. Lincoln's relieved that he's truly allowed, and the episode in general is just really wholesome.
Yeah. At the end of the episode, his parents are like, of course you're our son. They explain the whole story. And their parents were like, oh, sorry if your birth story, sorry if you can't disclose your birth story to your friends, kiddo. And then Lincoln is like, it's okay. I'm just really glad you can still call me your son. And honestly, that line was really sweet.
Legends and How Double Dare You. It might be the nostalgia talking, but can we get more episodes about classic Nickelodeon game shows?
Yo, deadass. The fact that this show went out of its way to make episodes about Nickelodeon game shows like Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare, 2000, just Double Dare in general. I watched Double Dare 2000 growing up, but I don't know about the original Double Dare. Like, can we get an episode about Figure It Out? Can we get an episode about Nickelodeon Guts? Like, come on. That is just, let me put it this way. That is nostalgia pandering done right. Know what I mean? Especially for Nickelodeon, for people who grew up watching Nickelodeon, more or less. Lucy has black hair because of her great-grandmother. Yeah, that is true. But like I said, I can believe that Lincoln got his white hair from his grandpa, but how do we know it's not white just because he's old and not because he actually had white hair this whole time? And where did he get it from? You know what? These questions don't really need answers. So, moving on.
Please. All I'm saying is I'd pay good money for the Louds to climb the aggro crag.
Yeah. Seriously. Forget the Europe road trip. Forget the summer camp. Can we just get more can we get episodes like this one? Where the Louds are competing in Nickelodeon Guts? Like, seriously.
Pretty much every episode revolving around Lily. I said it before. I don't mean to exaggerate when I said this is probably the most adorable baby in all of fiction.
Yeah, Lily. S-tier cuteness. S-tier cuteness. That's all I can say.
I actually felt bad when, say, a bird knocked over her ice cream after all that trouble, or when she lost her musical toy and couldn't smile.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Look at that face and tell me you don't feel something. Even in her weakest episode, I don't think there's a single line out of her that doesn't make me go, aww. And then there's this moment, which is funny enough with the context. I will say this though, Potty Mouth, it might not be the best episode. Well, it's an acceptable episode. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it weren't for the ending, which I'm about to show. Wait, Sanjay and Craig did it? Really? They give it to Sanjay and Craig, but not their second most popular show? What are we doing, Nickelodeon? What are we doing, man? Context. I didn't edit that in. That beep, that swearing, it's there. They spent the whole episode trying to stop Lily from saying what they thought was damn it, but if you read her lips, that's not even what she said here. Yeah. The whole episode, she's like, damn it, and the whole family thinks she's saying damn it, but here, she is straight up saying, fuck! I'm not gonna say it myself, because it's a little too crass, but still. Yeah, it technically undid the whole plot, but it's like the pie bomb in SpongeBob. Conclusive consequences that you're not meant to take seriously, because it's just that funny. I talked about this a little earlier, I think yesterday. Like, if the ending is just that funny, don't in a show like this, in a show like SpongeBob, don't worry about what you're trying to set up or establish. Like, if you're just in it, sometimes I can tell when you're just in it for the comedy, and sometimes that's a good thing. Antisocial and a dark and story night. Honestly, props to this show for these episodes, and really, the amount of times in general it encourages kids that there's ways to have fun outside of just electronics while telling good stories. She actually said donut. She didn't say damn it. Yeah, I know. They thought she said damn it, but in reality she was saying donuts. But at the end of the episode, she straight up, no sugarcoating it. She straight up said she straight up dropped an F-bomb, and I love it. Like, how many Nickelodeon shows, let alone kids shows in general, do you know that can get away with that? Because they did. They did. And they deliver. They made it worthwhile in the process. Let me put it this way. They're saying go touch grass. Speaking of electronics, though, the Loud Cloud. Props to this episode for building upon those ideas even further by showing how over-reliance on technology can really backfire. Lincoln and Lisa build an app to keep track of personal reminders for the family and other utilities such as... Like, yeah. But basically, the point I'm trying to make with the episodes I'm talking about here is that how common is it for a TV show to actually encourage kids, especially in this day and age, to put away the tablets, put away the cell phones, and just go play outside like normal kids? Like, honestly, maybe it's because I don't watch a lot of kid shows, and I really shouldn't. I'm a full-grown adult. But how many times is this the focus? Like, I don't know. It's just a good teaching lesson. It's just a good lesson for the kids, for the target audience of this show. Know what I mean? Like, honestly. Also, Mr. Chloe, hello. Welcome to the stream. Props to this show for these episodes, and really, the amount of times in general it encourages kids that there's ways to have fun outside of just electronics while telling good stories in the process. Okay, there is SpongeBob too, but yeah, I know what it's called. It's called Sailor Mouth. There is that SpongeBob episode, but the thing with that one, okay, you know what? I'll give it credit. I'll give it credit for getting away with so much censored swearing, but at the same time, it's spread throughout the whole episode. Here, it's one and done at the end of Potty Mouth. With there, it's spread throughout the whole episode, but here it's a one and done. And yeah, it's really funny. The dolphin sound. I'm very familiar with it. Let me put it this way. They're saying go touch grass. Fire. Too late, but Lincoln and Lisa build an app to keep track of personal reminders for the family and other utilities such as Dad's recipes and the song Luna wrote for Sam. Finally! Just when I thought there would actually be a meaningful interaction between Luna and Sam, they screw them over again. Too little, too late, but just for the sake of a really bad joke. Something meaningful finally popped out of this garbage relationship. What? I straight up, when I saw this episode, I was like, okay, we finally got something. It took them 4 seasons, and we still didn't get it, somehow. We don't get to hear any of the song, and a thoughtfully talented singer like Luna botched it so hard, she needs the lyrics on hand? Deadass. You wrote a song for your girlfriend, and apparently it was so botched that you need the lyrics in front of you while you're performing it? Like, did you not rehearse it? Did you not practice it? Like, Seriously?
Are you kidding me?
And I go and do a much minor tangent compared to last time, but this really pissed me off.
Wow. 4 seasons since Sam got introduced, and once again, she is still derailing
And when you think about it, yeah, it is.
Luna's character just by existing while having none of her own.
You suck!
Just every time, bro. Every time they give these characters a spotlight, they do not know what they're doing.
Okay, I'm done pulling punches.
Straight up. When I finished writing the script, this part of the video wasn't there originally. This was more or less an addendum that I added while I was editing.
Half the time, this character is the definition of dead weight. And the other half, she's a fucking narrative leech. This character and this relationship have been so bland and empty throughout the years, and to the point where
Yeah, season 6, it started in like what, 2022? They've more or less been in a relationship since like 2019. 3 years, and we still did nothing with it. Like, that's the thing when you have a show with such a cast this big. Someone's bound to get the short end of the stick, but I don't think it should have been these characters, to say the least.
dare I say it, even Luna's attraction to women is
Like, it's just so empty and so emotionless that I feel like they just paired Luna with a girl for the hell of it. Not because they actually had a meaningful story to tell.
well, how would she put it exactly?
Bogus dude.
Also, I love it when she says bogus dude, or just bogus in general.
But sure, Nickelodeon. Give them more episodes and moments in total than the other official couples, and even a graphic novel dedicated to just them for good measure. Because who cares about good character growth and relationships that feel real when you're making easy money instead?
Like, straight up, I don't buy for a second that Nickelodeon hindered them. In terms of the writing department, to say the least. As far as Luna and Sam's screen time, I don't think Nickelodeon hindered them in any way. They just didn't care.
Never mind who they are, all that matters is the fact that they're both girls, right? Nothing more, nothing less. Because even in 2025, the community notorious for its vanity
Straight up. The whole movement is called pride. A synonym for vanity and arrogance. How am I supposed to trust that when people say representation matters, oh, we need more representation? How am I supposed to trust that any of it has good intentions or is genuine, to say the least? When the whole movement is literally a synonym for, let me put it this way, a cardinal sin. Just an intention to show off, more or less.
they want, right? If I had a nickel for every time a respectable character attracted to men was neutered for the sake of a terribly written gay romance, I'd have 3 nickels. Really? That many?
Yes, I'm very well aware that bisexuality is a thing. Doesn't change the fact that it's a really convenient scapegoat for these characters. Blake Belladonna from RWBY. Really good chemistry with Sun, but suddenly she's reunited with her team, and suddenly she and Yang hit it off, somehow. Rosa Diaz. Perfectly healthy relationship with Pimento in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Her actress comes out as bisexual. 1 season later, she dumps Pimento for really stupid reasons, and she's dating women now. Luna, no prior relationship beforehand, but they did establish that she was attracted to men. And suddenly, she has this best friend that she sporadically fell in love with, but for some reason, they passed them off as close friends, but for some reason, they know nothing about each other on their first date. Almost every interaction between them, Sam just feels replaceable, or she's dead weight. It's either pointless, it derails Luna's character. You know what? I've talked about this over and over again. I'm gonna be real, guys. I'm getting a little tired of it. It's called pride because it was considered a mental illness. Well, not anymore. Would it kill them to just change the name? You don't really have to anymore. And nowadays, it just makes you look conceited. Is it just me?
But what are the odds that anyone who needs to have this conversation is ready for it? So, moving on.
Like, they really couldn't pick a better word for it. Like, pride, the word pride in general, in certain contexts, like, say, like, I don't know, there's a reason the term, there are sayings like swallow my pride, because it's not something you're meant to have most of the time. Like, it is legitimately the opposite of a virtue. So I don't know why they wear it with such they wear that idea with such, well, pride. Also, everything wrong with this character, which I'd rather not repeat myself. Friended. Oh, look at that. Another decent Kevin Sullivan episode, but to be fair, he did not write this one alone. And it's technically not even an episode of The Loud House. Ronnie Ann's character growth comes to fruition in a compelling way when it results in her meeting her best friend and taking drastic measures to ensure that they become neighbors. After everything I said earlier, do you guys honestly think Season 1 or even Season 2 Ronnie Ann wouldn't have treated Sid any differently than she does here? Yeah, we talked about this briefly yesterday before I had to end stream. Ronnie Ann in Seasons 1 and 2? She was brooding, she was abrasive, we know how she treated Lincoln, but at the same time, but as time went on throughout the series and we saw her character grow, it makes sense why she behaves with Sid the way she does. Their bond is endearing and compelling. Sid is quirky, but not to the point where it's pretend. Did I really say compelling there? Hold on, let me hear that again. Their bond is endearing and compelling. Sid is quirky, but not to the point where it's pretentiously oblivious or just not funny. Straight up, Sid, straight up, she gives me Luz Noceda vibes, but I mean that in a good way. Because I do not like Luz Noceda. She is Luz Noceda done right. And this friendship and this new character is one of the few good things I can say came out of the Casa Grandes. At least in that aspect. Sister Act. Two characters voiced by great alike. Wait, hold on. Kevin Sullivan wrote that. Color me surprised. Came out of the Casa Grandes. Sister Act. Two characters voiced by Grey Delisle pretending to be the other character voiced by Grey Delisle while sounding like they're still the first characters voiced by Grey Delisle. Like straight up, why do they... No, okay, you know what, let me put it this way. Call yourselves LGBT, call yourselves... Like, did you have to go with literally one of the 7 deadly sins for the name of your movement? Like, I don't know, that raises a couple red flags, to say the least. Okay, that kind of comedy just writes itself. The voice actress in question nails it. Also, Grey Delisle, S-tier voice actress. If I ever meet her, I'm gonna lose my mind. And it has a great message about not avoiding your responsibilities. Cowpie Kid and Lynn in Order. I touched on why I like these episodes last time, so I'll try to be brief here. Lynn is abrasively energetic to the point where she lacks a sense of tact and kindness most of the time. Like if you're... Okay, guys, I'd rather stop talking... Okay, one little final statement in terms of what people are saying in chat. If there was genuine persecution for their movement, I'm not going to deny that. But if you're trying to paint yourselves as genuinely noble, maybe, like I said, don't name yourself after one of the 7 deadly sins. Don't antagonize your enemies. They're already antagonizing you. Not to mention, especially here in North America, and even and definitely in Europe, all that persecution, all those ideas of oppression, they are more or less non-existent. Can we be honest with ourselves about that? Or does that make me come off as homophobic? Which I would disagree with you, but I'm not here to argue. So to see her develop both these traits through bonding with Liam is excellent character growth. She benches him during a championship match because she knows he's too injured, but... And instead of calling it the humility movement or anything like that, they went with pride. Like, just lay off the irony. That's all I'm asking. Lay off the irony. And they haven't, so... Again, I just can't bring myself to trust it. If you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, I got no beef with you. But if you're associated with that kind of movement, then you're going to have a really hard time having my respect, to say the least. He doesn't want to admit it, and he shows her that being merciful as a hall monitor might make the job easier and more practical. All while she brings out his physical capabilities in a way that makes him happy. Liam brings out the best in her. I'm willing to bet he only took the... Yeah, when you take into consideration episodes like Singled Out, where Lynn gets so caught up... Like, Lynn is so hyperfixated on getting a boyfriend just to spare her... Just so she's not embarrassed in front of her friends who have boyfriends or romantic partners. So she hooks up with the closest guy she meets... How do I word this? Phrasing, Seabass. Phrasing. When you take into account the events of Singled Out, where Lynn gets with a guy just so she's not embarrassed about being single in front of her friends, and then she breaks up with him because she realizes maybe it's fine. Things are fine that way. Because throughout the whole episode, she is too caught up in her athletics to the point where she completely ignores her boyfriend in disrespectful ways. And they both acknowledge that. So when she starts building a bond with Liam throughout more than one episode, I couldn't help but think, yeah, I ship it. They definitely have a lot of chemistry. They should get together eventually, but they haven't.
Palm on her job to spend time with her since she's the only other one, and their chemistry is compelling. Never mind all that, though. She likes his European boy somehow, and the showrunners have so much faith in him that he's the focus of the next Christmas special.
Yeah, Liam who? Let's go with this random European boy. 2 seasons later, we do nothing with Liam, and we just go to this random kid that nobody ever cared about. And yeah, I thought Henrik, he has some development, but if I'm being honest, he was a little forgettable. And most of the time, they just try to pass him off as funny. Like, apparently he yodels when he laughs or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's just dumb.
I don't know who's calling these shots, but I swear, sometimes they can't recognize a good romance if it struck them in the face.
Tracy, are you just going to ask me who voices every character we see in this video?
Sandhassels. Not to undermine Lucy's character, because there's a lot to appreciate, but I'm glad that they showed that she isn't just a doom and gloom goth.
Well, Hernan, this isn't really about that. My point here isn't really about transgenderism or anything along those lines. It's really just the community as a whole.
And that she's perfectly capable of enjoying life in normal ways.
Like, I don't know, the contrast between Lucy and the aesthetics of the beach, like, I don't know. Like, aesthetically, they're just really curious.
Improvement. Honestly, up until this point, Laurie's character growth revolving around Bobby felt a little neglected. Their bond was romantic in most of the right ways, but for too long, sometimes it seemed like Laurie was willing to hurt him or others for her own selfish gains. Heck, she forced her brother to date his bully, not even for his own sake, just to make Bobby happy.
Yeah, up until this point, every time Laurie was talking about Bobby or she was doing something for Bobby's sake or vice versa, she always came off as so selfish, so to speak. Like, every time, like, forcing Lincoln to go on a date with Ronnie Ann just to make Bobby happy and Bobby will get back with her. Making Bobby do, like, all this, like, every time, up until this point, Laurie felt so shallow. Like, she did not appreciate Bobby the way any good girlfriend should, more or less.
So, seeing her realize that making him drive for 3 hours after a surgery just for a fucking selfie really drives the idea that Bobby has given her a sense of tact she hardly had before. Friends in dry places. I think most older kids, and even young adults to say the least, have been in Lincoln's position here growing up. There's no telling if in the future we'll still have the same friends we've grown to cherish, and maybe we dread the idea of growing apart or being forgotten. So to see them resolve to stay together by the end is honestly heartwarming, but only time will tell.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that hit a little too close to home, because as far as my childhood friends are concerned, as far as my friends from high school, and even some of my friends from college, I haven't seen them since those days. I haven't seen them since we were kids. I haven't seen them since we were adults, and looking back at the memories, I do kind of miss them. I do wish we could at least stay in touch, but we really haven't, so.
All the more reason I adore the idea of the Action News team.
Yeah, just keep giving us moments with the characters, with the friend group as a whole, and honestly, I don't hate it. I know people complain that there's a lot of episodes about Lincoln's friend group collectively, but honestly, I don't mind. It's not overdone to the point. It's not overdone by any means.
Season's cheatings.
And I will say this. I will fight anyone on this. This is the best Christmas special out of all of them so far.
As much as I've enjoyed The Loud Cousins so far, this Christmas special takes the cake. Lincoln was so caught up in rigging the gift swap to the point where he forgets about who he was assigned, resulting in him willingly sacrificing what he was striving for.
Yeah. The whole episode, he was rigging the gift swaps so he would get some sort of cool backpack. And then Clyde's telling him, "Oh, who did you get in the gift exchange?" And I was like, "Oh crap, Lola!" And it's Christmas Eve, and he hasn't bought anything yet. So then, in the end, he bargains with Chandler. He gets some pretty earrings, and he trades the backpack just to make Lola happy.
Even then,
like, this is one of those circumstances where it's a good thing Lincoln gets screwed over, because he more or less legitimately deserved
He
it.
still gets a present from his original Secret Santa, and dang it, Lily, haven't
And he still gets a present anyways. Lily makes him a finger painting. Like, that is just... God damn it, man. That is just fucking adorable.
I praised your adorableness enough?
My emotions.
Okay, I wouldn't say shipping. Like, I don't know. That term just gets used way too loosely. As far as Lynn and Lena are concerned, I just see a meaningful bond between them to the point where, like I said, if we ever get like a time skip episode, if they ever want to focus on this connection ever again, then I'm totally down for it. I just want to see more between them.
I don't doubt that Lincoln loves his sisters and vice versa, but this is the first time I think we've seen it from the youngest,
And honestly, it might make for good drama. What would Lincoln think about one of his closest friends dating his older sister? Like, I don't know. Not drama to the point where it's problematic, to say the least.
it's perfectly wholesome. A Stella performance. At this point in time, Stella was serviceable and charming in her role, but she was a little lacking in emotional vulnerabilities, unlike any well-written character.
Seriously. She was introduced, at this point in time, she was introduced 3 seasons ago. The fact that it took this long to give her some thorough character development, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little infuriating when you consider how she was introduced.
She's gentle, creative, studious, and mechanically inclined, but she's still prone to impulsive behavior like any real kid. So seeing her glossophobia rear its head and give some implications about who she was before moving to Royal Woods was truly endearing. The whole episode fleshed her out in a way we hadn't seen before, and it was rather thought-provoking. She's never mentioned what her life or her friends were like before meeting Lincoln, and now that she finally mentions a moment, it's a time where she was humiliated. Maybe to the point where she never opened up to anyone in her hometown again.
Honestly, it would explain so much. The fact that she was sitting, when Lincoln met her, she was sitting alone on the bus, and no one else, not one other person tried sitting next to her until he did. I'm guessing his teacher announced that they were getting a new student. I'm guessing he bumped into her in public or saw her moving in. Who knows? They really never explained it, but even then, it gives some interest. It gives a lot of interesting background, to say the least.
Maybe it's just headcanon, but it seems like she hardly had any friends, if any at all, and was rather reserved until she met Lincoln. It would explain why she was so eager to befriend his squad when they met, especially.
Yeah. They jumped to the conclusion that she wanted one of them to be her boyfriend. And even with that, she still wanted to be their friend. She didn't try befriending anyone else. Like, I don't know. There's a lot to think about.
Especially since she didn't try befriending anyone else at that point, and she forgave them all for thinking that she wanted to go out with one of them. There's just a lot of nuance and implications to work off of, and it's part of the reason I think Stella's character could be utilized a little differently and much more than what it already has. Present danger. Considering the small time skip we got, yeah, it was only a matter of time before they gave Lincoln a birthday episode.
I will say this. I know I've made a big fuss about not liking most, if not all, of the David Steele episodes, but this is one of the rare exceptions because it's the boy's birthday. He was bound to, if there was any theme he was bound to pick, it was probably that because, and you're probably thinking, why did he not pick Ace Savvy? And keep in mind, he's turning 12. He probably already did have an Ace Savvy birthday. It's not like maybe it's just headcanon, but is there any reason to deny it?
Yo, get yourself some friends who will so much as nail cosplay.
Seriously though, nailing cosplay for your homie's birthday, like, I don't know, that is friendship goals, if you ask me.
Just to make you happy on your special day. Also, it's nice to see Rusty not be a cocky idiot for once and just having him doing something nice for a change.
Straight up. Every time we see Rusty, he's just like, yeah, oh, get all the girls. Oh, I'm trying to look tough. Like, he is naively pretentious. Know what I mean? And in this episode, all he ultimately did was just try to provide a good present for Lincoln.
Riddle School. Everyone in Lincoln's squad gets a moment to shine and
Yeah, for all we know, more than one. For all we know.
reflect their personalities while solving a set of riddles in hopes of stopping a school-wide prank. Honestly, this episode was just a fun watch, especially with that knowledge. Only mine will tell. Yo, shout
Probably my favorite episode from season 8, even today.
outs to episodes where someone has an in-story reason to not talk. Gotta be one of my favorite genders. It encourages the writers and animators to be more creative, it makes the dialogue more concise, and it pushes the viewers into actually paying better attention.
Like, yeah, if the character is not talking too much, it made me realize, okay, I gotta get off my phone. I gotta actually pay attention to this episode. And you know what? That's a good thing.
In this case, it revolves around a character I already love, so you can't go wrong with it. Honestly, I'm down for most of everything from Season 8 that has aired in my country so far.
Once again, another instance where I have to mention that I'm Mexican, but people still think I'm racist for not liking the Casagrandes.
On that note, shout outs to Debbie Derryberry for bringing back her Jimmy Neutron voice. I straight up recognized it on the spot.
Yeah, show, don't tell. Like, honestly, I feel like that saying does not get passed around enough in the animation industry.
No Time to Spy. Even after all this time since introducing Lincoln's David Steele,
And yes, Tracy, in case you're curious,
the dialogue more concise, and it pushes the already love, so you can't go far. On that note, shout outs to Debbie Derryberry.
one episode of Season 8, this character, voiced by Debbie Derryberry, the voice of Jimmy freaking Neutron. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, is that Debbie Derryberry? I was like, no, and color me surprised. I was right.
Derryberry for bringing back her Jimmy Neutron voice. I straight up recognized it on the spot. No Time to Spy. Even after all this time since introducing Lincoln's David Steele adoration, the whole spy gimmick still feels really forced.
Yeah, they started it in Season 5, and somehow it takes up the last of all of the production slots in Season 7.
Especially since it spawned this whole movie, but a lot of good came out of it here. The villain's motivations are understandable and thought-provoking. Myrtle accidentally sent her husband to space where he presumably starved to death or ran out of air by the time he could be saved.
Yeah, okay. Think about it, guys.
Husband to space.
This guy, he was throughout the whole movie's marketing. I will rule the world. Like, he was all over the trailers for the promotional material for No Time to Spy. So when I watched the movie and at the end where he's revealed, it turned out they straight up went with a, yep, he was dead all along. He's been dead all Okay, you know what? Let me start over. This guy was all over the promotional material for this movie. So at the end, when it's revealed he's been dead all along, I was like, oh shit. Like, I was genuinely flabbergasted. The freaking Loud House actually gave me a good twist villain? Something that even Disney has a hard time doing nowadays.
He starved to death or ran out of air by the time he could be saved.
¿Por qué serán que llegaron primero capítulos a Latinoamérica antes que Estados Unidos? Why would it be that several episodes made it to Latin America before the United States? I don't know, actually. Like, it's weird because the entirety of the Europe road trip, that aired in April here in Mexico, but it didn't air in the United States until July. Even though I was able to watch it in English here in Mexico. Like, the dubbing is complete, the localization, it's literally right next door, so why do they take so long? Like, what is going on behind the scenes that it takes 3 months?
Yeah, that rocket was not designed to harbor a person. Somehow, this is surprisingly dark, but still subtle enough for a kid's movie.
Like, yeah, he got blasted into space. Everyone assumed that when he was going to make an appearance at the end of the movie that he made it back, but no. He straight up, presumably, it's never made clear in the movie, and it's for the best. They straight up insinuate that he starved to death, ran out of air, and straight up died before he could be rescued.
So it makes sense that his wife wants to do the same to the Louds. And when she's revealed to be behind it all,
And then it turns out his wife is the one scheming the whole plot, the one behind all the schemes throughout the movie.
that she wanted the family to
Like, that bad guy, Dr. Dufu, whatever his name is, he's only in the first 5 minutes, and we see him get blasted into space, and we never see him again.
reach her lair. You look back and wonder, is that why the door to the hideout conveniently opened? Was the family in any real danger up until they fell into the trap? Were those guards missing their shots at Lily on purpose? All of their motivations and bravado was
Do I have a VPN? I can pay for one, no problem, but at the moment, no, Tails. Why do you ask?
exactly what the villain wanted, to the point where it plays a part in Lincoln's character development and the moral of the story.
The whole film, Lincoln's thrilled that a retired spy is going to be wed into his family, hoping for some sort of adventure like in his comic books. And when you take into account his obsession with David Steele throughout the past 2 seasons at this point, like, it all adds up. Oh my gosh, my soon-to-be grandma is a retired spy. I'm gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna go all secret agent on so many bad guys, blah, blah, blah. Like, that kind of childlike wonder, like, it makes so much sense here. And I mean that in a good way. Only to realize that if he wasn't so caught up in his fantasies, his whole family wouldn't be trapped in a rocket to be left to die. Oh, that's the thing, Tails. I'm watching it through... Aside from streaming platforms, it really doesn't bother me that I don't have a lot of access to the content in the United States. Like, what am I really missing out on, more or less? If he had just stayed put and let Myrtle's agency take over like intended? Yeah. About 20 minutes into the movie, Lincoln and Myrtle get ambushed by some bad guys for some unexplained reason. Myrtle calls her boss, calls her agency, and since she's about to get married and her whole soon-to-be family is here, Myrtle is like, no, I cannot accept this mission. We all gotta get out of here. But then Lincoln takes Myrtle's phone behind her back and says, we accept the mission. The villain would have already lost. Like, straight up, it's a bad decision on Lincoln's end, but it's perfectly in character. And yeah, even before this movie, they established Myrtle is a retired spy. Yeah, I think in an episode from early season 7 or late season 6. I don't remember exactly. Point is, it happened before this movie. There's actually this, as ridiculous as this film got sometimes, it's actually working off of the show's continuity, and I can respect that. He has every reason to blame himself to the point where he discards his comic books and... Yeah, if he wasn't screwing around, if he wasn't doing these private investigations, Myrtle would have never been kidnapped. And since it was the middle of the night in a vacation resort, the police couldn't do anything. So he and his family stepped in to try to rescue her. And as it turns out, that's exactly what the villain wanted. Myrtle got her husband killed, so Fifi, the name of the lady, the name of the villain, she wants to do the same to the Louds. She's going to send them into space and leave them to die. Just to get back at Myrtle after all these years. Shame, and then Lincoln realizes if he had just not been so impulsive, not so eager to replicate his idol, then his whole family wouldn't be in this mess. So when he's like, no, this is all my fault. No, I ruined everyone's lives. Like, I totally believe it. The fact that he's crying, throwing his comic books in the toilet, literally in the toilet, out of shame? Like, hello? Am I watching the Loud House? Because I genuinely felt a lot of emotion there. He has every reason to blame himself to the point where he discards his comic books and shit. Like, it's a little melodramatic considering the surroundings and whatnot, but at the same time, I felt it. And sacrifices himself so this family can get off the rocket. Learning what Myrtle told him from the beginning of the conflict. Being a hero calls for a lot more than just the grandeur you see in fiction. Yeah. Very early in the movie, I think Myrtle tells Lincoln, there's more to the spy life than just gadgets and action and all that stuff, more or less. That's not exactly what she said, but it's the same idea. On top of that, the resolution is really sweet. Like, he goes through a genuine character arc, and you know what? As silly as this movie is, more or less, I can respect that. Especially with the music. In the end, Myrtle blames herself for all of this happening, but her newfound family And then after the whole conflict is over, Myrtle's like, this is all my fault. Maybe I shouldn't be involved with your family. But then everyone tells her that, hey, you're our family now. We're fighting with you, not for you. Assures her that 10 minutes before 5? Yeah, it's Sunday afternoon. I got nowhere else to be, John. But thank you for reminding me. You're fighting with her, not for her. In a cartoony world like this one, I don't see a reason to undermine that idea if it's coming from a 12-year-old boy. And yeah, normally I'd be thinking, y'all are kids. You have no business dealing with these dangerous bad guys. But this is one of those times where you got to think to yourself, you know what? It's a cartoon. They can handle it. And I'm sorry, if you put your leitmotif in a soft orchestra, you got me. Yeah, when this was playing in the credits, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I genuinely got a little emotional. Yeah, after this movie, they completely should have abandoned the David Steele idea, the whole secret agent shtick. but somehow they didn't. And trust me, I have a lot of grievances with that prospect, and I talked about it in my latest video. Seriously, both in the credits and right after the villain is defeated and the whole family is safe, when I was listening to this in the background, I was like, wait, is this the theme song? Then I listened. In the loud house, in the loud house. It feels like, I don't know. I just love it. I just love it when shows do that. When they put their theme song into like an orchestra or softer instruments. Like, I don't know. It just reestablishes its identity more or less.
There's just a few minor issues. Problem 1. How did no one identify the Myrtle imposter until Lincoln showed up?
Yeah, this was dumb. The whole gag with the Myrtle imposter, I did not enjoy it.
All it took was one look at the plunger stuck to his head.
And it just wasn't funny, to be honest.
Problem 2. Is Lenny really dumb enough to throw away the one thing that could have helped them get out of the rocket just to take out one henchman?
Yeah. Lisa made her a lipstick that can cut through metal. That can cut through pretty much anything, including metal. And they were trapped in a glass container that was about to be launched into space. If she had just kept the lipstick instead of throwing it at one henchman, they would have broken out. No problem. The whole villain's plan would have failed, but I guess that's why they got rid of it, but even then, it still feels really forced. Even for someone as dumb as Lenny.
I honestly doubt it. Problem 3. If Lori caught the fish in the end, it would have shown real progress for her side plot of catching the bouquet at the wedding.
Yeah, the reason she's so excited for the wedding is because y'all already know how the wedding tradition goes. If you catch the bouquet after the bride shows it, it's more than likely you'll be married next. Or at the very least, that's the superstition. So that's why Lori is excited, and Lynn is training her, apparently, with pretty much every object she can throw at her, and it's a running gag throughout the whole movie, but not once did Lori ever actually catch what Lynn was throwing at her, so it feels like she didn't make any progress. Like, just the moment of her actually catching the bouquet at the wedding, it just doesn't feel earned.
Problem 4, and it's kind of a biggie. Remember when Luna established in her best episode that rock and roll is her style and she won't compromise it so drastically? Yeah, that's gone here. I get that she wants to perform at a family wedding, but she's practically just doing karaoke of a pop song.
You know what? That's more or less a nitpick, but it still feels a little inconsistent. We got a whole half-hour special emphasizing, hey, I'll play what I want, where Luna says, hey, I'll play what I want. No one's going to change me. But here she is just performing a pop song on a ukulele, which she's got these stereos. Is she even performing or is she doing a sing-along? Like, I straight up can't tell.
Don't dance with your family, you dummy.
Like, I don't know. Just because Luna is the musically gifted member of the family doesn't mean she has to perform all the musical numbers, guys. Like, I don't know. Something about it just feels a little off. I caught the bouquet once and I gave it to my oldest sister. Why wouldn't you keep it for yourself, man?
Last but not least, the Loud House movie.
For the record, like I've said time and again, I can understand why people don't like it. I got a lot of problems with this film. And like I established at the beginning of the segment, this part of the video is not just talking about other good episodes that didn't make the list. I'm here to talk about stuff that I actually like about the show. Even if it's something in a part of it that isn't collectively good or high quality. Know what I mean?
Maybe it's because I watched.
I was like 12. Oh, okay, you were 12. That makes sense. Even then, though, are kids not allowed to catch the bouquet? Of course, you shouldn't get married while you're underage. That's usually a terrible idea. Always, pretty much. But even then, I don't. You know what? It's just superstition. I shouldn't fixate on it.
This film during a difficult time in my life, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. It might sound pessimistic, but the opening song is probably the best one in the movie.
Aww. Baby Lincoln with his sisters. I don't know. That's just really cute. Paramount Pictures was originally going to produce... Oh my god, Chloe, you deleted the comment. You retracted the comment before I finished reading. Can you please post it again? You know what? I can always just pause the VOD and read it from here. Nah, you know what? It can wait.
The rest are kind of hit or miss. Lincoln's bond with Lily gets explored, which is something that even today doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's honestly a part of the Loud House movie I really liked. Because how often do we explore the bond between Lincoln and his youngest sister? Like him teaching her magic, him teaching him how to survive in the household with 10 sisters. Basically what he does every day. Basically the premise of the whole show.
And often, we get to look into the origins of the Loud name, yeah, it's actually called the Loud House movie for more than just the basic reasons.
Yeah. They visit their family ancestral home. They visit Loch Loud. Loud House movie? Like, I don't know. It just felt a little appropriate. Yeah. The amount of reviews I've seen, oh, the Loud House movie sucks. The Loud House movie is like, all right, I get it, but, and I agree with a lot of your points, but at the same time, it's just a little too, the slander for it is a little too common. Like, it's not that deep, bro. It's a Nickelodeon movie.
His motivation is a little redundant, but
Paramount Pictures was originally going to produce the Loud House movie along with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Really? Why did they give it to Netflix? Come to think of it. I guess it's because Paramount Plus wasn't really a thing. They had no means to publish it other than airing it. They could have aired it on Nickelodeon. Was that out of budget? I don't know. I guess they outsourced the budget to Netflix. I don't know. This movie went through developmental hell pandemic. Yeah, it didn't get published until 2021, so I see why. And the director changed midway. Oh, wow. Originally going to be in theaters, but it went to stream. Wow, okay. That's genuinely surprised. That I did not know. Like, I know a lot of films in development struggled because of the pandemic, but it didn't occur to me that this was on that list. This film was on that list.
I'd say it's different enough. While there, he was hoping for just a trophy of any kind.
2020. Interesting.
Here, he just wants genuine acknowledgement for what he does best. They don't really give awards or praise for something as abstract as planning, no matter how pivotal it is here. So it makes sense that he feels ostracized, and he lets the fact that he descends from Scottish nobility go to his head, to the point where he's willing to leave his old life behind for good at first.
Yeah. He feels special, not just because of what he does best. He feels special just for existing. And that idea going to an 11-year-old boy's head, yeah, I understand that completely. The film didn't really wrap it up properly, the character arc properly, but at the same time, I can respect the premise, to say the least. Wow. Chris got kicked out of Nickelodeon midway through development. And that's the thing. Chris made it clear in his interviews after getting fired that he doesn't like the idea of the dragons, the magic, or the witches. So you have to wonder, what was he planning? What was the original draft of the movie? I'm legitimately curious, but we'll never really know because he's never going to work on the show again. We all know what he did.
As for the villain, I wouldn't mind how petty her motivations are if she wasn't so boring. Like I said before, the supernatural elements are jarring,
I love the inclusion of the parents meeting each other at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, me too.
but
For reasons I will actually explain in the video, if you give it a moment.
I've seen more desperate grasps at grandeur.
Like, honestly, compared to everything else this show has done in terms of supernatural gimmicks, and compared to other things other shows have done, a pet dragon in their family ancestral home, it feels kind of tame. Like, I don't know, it just feels too... It doesn't feel like anything crazy, even by this cartoon... Not even by this cartoon standards, to say the least.
Lastly, thank you for retconning the only part of Alice for Love that ultimately mattered.
Straight up. We already know how empty Luna and Sam's relationship is. None of the other romantic pairings in Alice for Love amounted to anything, except for Luann and Benny, but the fact of the matter is, Luann and Benny, even without the setup from Alice for Love, their relationship, at least the setup, still feels perfectly organic. Stage play is a perfectly well-written episode. So yeah, the only bit of lore that we got in Alice for Love, which is Lynn and Rita meeting, they did it again in the movie.
Now I never willingly have to watch that
I straight up have no reason to ever willingly watch this episode again. Yeah, Turning Red definitely went through some technical issues because of the pandemic. I'm aware of that. I remember watching it. Pretty sure that I watched it the day it aired it premiered on Disney Plus. I didn't like most of it. Like, its messaging is a little flimsy, but yeah, I can understand the struggles people went through to get this film out there. And now, guys, we are officially at number 1.
But with all that being said, let's get to what I trust is the best episode of The Loud House as of right now.
I will say this, the Paper Mario music, it feels... Sometimes I'm really proud of my music choices in the video, and this is one of those instances.
This choice might be really surprising because I looked around on the internet and I never saw anyone mention this episode whenever someone asked what their favorite is. But I firmly stand by it nonetheless. This is the episode that made me believe that there was a lot more to this cartoon than what meets the eye.
Wait, did Luca get released in theaters? Really? I'm guessing it bombed, but because of the pandemic, but wow. Soul was actually really good. I actually really like Soul. But damn. Really? Like, I don't know. The pandemic, it was just a very stupid time. A very ridiculous time for the film industry as a whole. And even the animation industry. More so the film industry because movie theaters and whatnot. Favorite Paper Mario game? The Thousand Year Door. It's not even close.
This episode led me to believe that
Like, I have a whole video highlighting, I have a whole highlight reel of my moments with the first chapter of The Thousand Year Door. Y'all can find it on my channel. The video is only about a year old. You should find it no problem. Like, I'm a big fan of the classic Paper Mario games.
this series is not just here for quick laughs, it's not just here to fulfill a quota for Nickelodeon, it's not just here to keep your kids distracted for a half hour. Most, if not every episode up until the point of this one, like any ongoing series, is cumulatively here to tell a story. And in this episode, it feels like it all expertly amounted to something.
Ironically, Boot, Super Paper Mario is the one I haven't played. I played Sticker Star, I hated it. I've been told Color Splash is just as bad. I've been told Origami King is just as bad. The only ones I've played are the first two, ironically. But from what I've been told, they're still the best in the franchise.
Or rather, someone. If you've been paying attention, you might think there's some bias in this choice, but don't get it twisted. This episode is so good, it's what spawned these preferences, not the other way around. So without further ado,
Straight up, if it weren't for this episode, nowadays, I would be more or less indifferent for the Loud House in general. This is the episode where it felt like this episode is just that good, man. Like, it's straight up what got me into the Loud House, more or less, when I took everything into consideration. For the Loud House movie, this and the Casagrandes are the only two films not to be animated by its original animation studio, Jamfilled, since it was busy with too many projects, so Top Draw and Mighty Animation took the spot. Well, that explains a few things. That explains why, aesthetically, those two films look so different compared to No Time to Spy, to say the least. Different publishers, in this case it was Netflix, and I guess obviously by extension, different animation studios. Según Savino, él habría terminado con la serie con menos temporadas y con esos cambios respecto de lo sobrenatural, pero creo que la gente le da más peso a esas cosas que a otros errores de escritura. According to Savino, he would have finished the series with a lot less seasons and with those changes in regards to the supernatural, but I think people give more weight to those ideas than to other writing errors. I guess we'll never know. We'll never know how it would have turned out. And guys, would it be wrong for me to want to know what Savino was planning? Like, I know he's a bad person. I know what he's done, and I don't want him involved in this show ever again, or really in the animation industry as a whole. Like, he can find work elsewhere. Like, he is guilty of so many genuine atrocities. However, I am curious as to what he had planned for this show. I don't think we'll ever know for sure. I don't think he'll ever disclose it, but I can't help but be a little curious.
white hair.
To the surprise of absolutely no one acquainted with this channel, this is by far my favorite episode of The Loud House. 4 years old this year? Yeah, it's been around since 2021. I remember watching it when it first premiered on Netflix back in the day, but I didn't remember any of it until I watched it again last year, if I'm being honest. Like, I remember the premise, I remember the dragons and all that, but I didn't watch it again until last year.
There is beauty in simplicity.
Creo que todos tenemos un poco de curiosidad sobre eso. I think all of us have a bit of curiosity about that. Yeah. Al margen del tipo de persona que resultó de ser. Okay, I'm straight up. I don't know how to translate that. To the point, to the margin of the type of person he turned out to be. Did I translate that correctly? I don't know if Chris or Kevin made this episode, but this was his original idea. What? White hair? I also love the music in Super Paper Mario as well. Like I said, I know little to nothing about Super Paper Mario. I do want to play it someday. I think it's available on the Wii U eShop, and I can probably play it from there, but I've never had the chance. When the original director leaves, the original ideas with it too. Yeah. I don't agree with a lot of Savino's choices, and a lot of it, for reasons I will get to actually in this video, a lot of the elements in the narratives of Chris Savino's episodes, they have a little too much in common with his inappropriate behavior behind the scenes. And you'll see what I'm talking about soon enough.
And that's what this franchise used to pride itself, and sometimes still does. Many would say it's what allowed it to rise to prominence in the first place, especially in an era of so many shows with overarching serialized stories.
Yeah. The fact that a slice of life cartoon managed to be so successful at the time of its release in 2016, like mid 2016, I want to believe it's when the show started. We had shows like Gravity Falls, Legend of Korra, Amphibia. Like in that particular decade, to say the least, at the minimum, to say the least, the fact that a simple slice of life show on Nickelodeon of all places managed to be so successful, I think it's just owed to the fact that to the simplicity of the show as a whole. Did he get fired after this episode? I don't know exactly when he got fired, but this is the last episode he was credited as a writer.
The simple premise of a normal boy showing us how he survives in a family of 10 unique sisters, who he is and what he grows into through them, complemented with a unique comic strip art style and ever so effective cartoon shenanigans. This episode has all of that and so many more elements that are just as, for lack of a better term, beautiful. A culmination of Lincoln's character growth, an homage to the rough drafts of this series, and a resolution for the future through someone that grew into a beloved character. No gimmicks.
Okay, I feel like I need to clarify with what I'm about to say in the video here. When I say no gimmicks, I mean they more or less just strictly focused on the protagonist, more or less. They didn't focus on any of the Loud sisters. There's no overtly theatrical special occasion. As much as I like really loud music, White Hair has so much more simplicity to the point where it feels a lot more compelling. Yeah, Stella's first appearance. I kind of miss Lincoln breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, he doesn't really do it often anymore, except with an occasional opening narration.
Nothing unnatural in reality?
Yeah. I think in the original pitch, or at least in the rough drafts of the show, originally the Louds were a family of rabbits.
No grasping at high stakes or grandeur? Just the utmost faith in the characters and the world that has been created. And it's all done concisely and cohesively in just 11 minutes of downright perfection. Lincoln hears that a new girl moved to town and is joining his class, so he adopts his tough guy mantle in hopes of impressing her when he meets her on the bus.
Think about it. Lincoln pretending to be a tough guy in hopes of winning someone over of the opposite sex. Who did he get that idea from? His previous love interest. Like, they never said it in the episode, but if you've seen every episode in the series until this point, you'll understand exactly why he's doing what he's doing. And honestly, that's great. Good stuff.
While avoiding his sisters on his way out, remembering what happened the last time he took their romantic advice. Only 2 minutes in, and this is already what L is for Love wishes it was.
Yeah. White Hair is L is for Love done right. They don't pretend there was a friendship beforehand. They don't pretend there's actual history and context for Lincoln behaving the way he does, other than just, oh, it's someone of the same gender. Like, there's actual context, there's history. His character development adds up, and it's fleshed out even more. Like, I don't know, it's just L is for Love done right. And the fact that the only justification for Luna's erratic behavior in L is for Love is just, oh, it's the fact that it's also a girl she's close with, a girl she's friends with, but for some reason never looked into whether she would actually feel the same way. Like, I don't know. If they're trying to establish the fact, you know what? I'm done talking about Sam.
Lincoln has
For the sake of I'm done talking about Sam. I'm tired of repeating myself, if I'm being honest.
actual reasons to be reluctant about his romantic ambitions because, unlike Luna, he has 10 sisters that might intervene for the worse. He behaves completely in character. He doesn't know this girl at all, and the narrative doesn't pretend that he ever did and doubled down on those mistakes.
Yeah, why am I still rambling? I pretty much already... The video basically just said everything I just did, so why am I rambling?
God, I hate these episodes. He tries to leave for school without them noticing, but of course they catch him at the door and start questioning his choices. So while he makes a run for
It's all right, John. Bro, if you are driving, you are better off doing exactly what you're doing, if not more.
it, he comes across a rabbit with 25 sisters and accidentally knocks himself out, resulting in nightmares of his greatest fear.
All right, Frost Shooter, calm down. You don't gotta You don't have to emphasize that. I'm very well aware of my own shortcomings, dude. It's a little hurtful. Yes, please stop talking about Sam.
He has more than twice as many sisters trying to influence his choices, and even worse, he scares off the new girl as a result. Just a side note, the world building in this rabbit dream is very brief, but if you pay attention, there is so many small details to artistically appreciate. The change in the design of
Okay, for all I know, Savino had all of these illustrations and whatnot ready at his pitch, but at the same time, the fact that they included all these details for such a brief moment in the episode. How long does this rabbit dream last in the episode? Like, I want to say 2 or 3 minutes? Not in an aggressive way? Okay. Still, though, I can't tell. You're literally just typing words, man. I'm sorry. I took a little offense to that. I'm sorry. How many voice actors did this? I actually don't know, Tracy. Like, seriously, the fact that all of these details, maybe Chris Savino had them at the ready, but at the same time, they did not need to include these in the storyboards or in the animation. But the fact that they went with it, the fact that they actually went the extra mile, it's something worth admiring.
the house, the fact that they're all hopping as they run, which
The little hopping. Like, I know that they're rabbits, it's what you would expect, but in terms of the animation, it's so simple, but it's really funny. You know what? Let me play that again.
artistically appreciate. The change in the design of the house, the fact that they're all hopping as they run, which is
The way they're just hippity hoppity, it's just too cute, man.
funny and adorable. Beaver Clyde eating the wooden popsicle stick instead of the popsicle.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until I watched this episode for the sake of this review. I didn't even notice that Clyde's equivalent here. He opens a popsicle, he dumps the whole popsicle. You can see it right here, and he just starts biting on the stick. You know, because he's a beaver. Beavers eat wood, more or less, or something like that. Like, I don't know. That is just such a fun detail.
The sonnets of Shapes' hair.
Shakespeare shapes hair. Hair is another. My God, this episode is too good, man. This episode is too good, man. God damn.
It's also easy to miss. That's why it's so great. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention with every episode, but it honestly felt like they were doing more than the bare minimum with the details for once. Lincoln wakes up and sees the rabbit succeed where he hasn't.
Seriously, with the symbolism, like, this is obviously supposed to represent Lincoln, and this is obviously supposed to represent Stella. And for some reason, even with all the symbolism between these two rabbits, despite the allegory, for some reason, nothing ever happened between them.
Resulting in him thinking that
Like, am I alone in being perplexed by that?
maybe his sisters were right to barge in this time. He rushes home knowing that the bus will be here soon and begs his sisters for guidance. If you've seen
Like, poor boy.
every bus will
Hold on. He is so conflicted. Should I listen to my sisters? Should I make my own approach? Should I keep the leather jacket? Like, I can definitely understand his inner turmoil. Because, well, let me put it simply. I was an 11-year-old boy at some point in my life, to say the least.
be here soon and begs his sisters for guidance. If you've seen every episode that chronologically aired until this point, except maybe the bad ones, you'll know that here is where it all comes together spectacularly. The sisters weren't going to change anything about him. They were just going to ask why he did it himself.
That definitely got to me. The fact that the sisters, from the beginning, had no intention of meddling, but they couldn't tell him that because he kept speaking over them. The fact that they had no intention of meddling
it shows that they learned their lesson from the episode Heavy Metal. And well, there's everything that happens after that. The ambitious but lovable dork of a brother that paints your nails, coaches your pageantry, sews ponchos for you, hugs you when you're scared, makes sure your boyfriend isn't cheating on you, teaches you to read without shaming you for it, rescues frogs and risks a flunking grade just for you, trades an autograph he waited hours to get just to make sure you're safe, missed a convention to save you from being teased. I could be here. Would I be exaggerating if I said that Lincoln more or less devotes a good chunk of his life to making his sisters happy? And I mean that in the best of ways. And the fact that it plays into this episode indirectly, more or less, just with the show's history, like, honestly, that is masterful continuity, to say the least. All day, I'm kind of glad they changed the idea of the Loud House whining. Yeah, I don't know how they would have managed to write 20 plus sisters and make it so that the cast doesn't feel cluttered or disorganized. So yeah, I can understand why they changed it the way they did. Seeing all the good Lincoln has done for his sisters because, as I've said time and time again, he just loves them that much. It's that simple. Just show the love between Lincoln and his sisters and make sure the narrative reflects it, and you still got a decent show. You still got a decent show that's riding on what it intended. A story about a boy showing us how he survives in a family of 10 sisters in modern suburbia. If Lincoln Albert Loud can show so much... And yes, his middle name is Albert. I think he mentioned it somewhere in season 5. Love, adoration, devotion, kindness, and sacrifice to the 10 most important girls in his life. Imagine what he's capable of for a girl that isn't related to him. Yeah. Straight up. Like, his devotion to his sisters? At some point, Lincoln grows up. Lincoln gets married. Lincoln gets married, meets a girl. Hopefully, what most people expect, are hoping for out of life, to say the least. At least one aspect of it. Eventually, his devotion to his sisters is going to be passed on to, hopefully, a very special girl. And by the looks of it, for all he knows, it might have been Stella. But we know how that turned out. A girl he wants in his life as more than just a friend. Like, we know he has a crush on her. We know... For him, it was love at first sight, but I really appreciate the fact that the narrative, even though they really screwed this up, they showed that Lincoln appreciates her as a person and not just as a romantic prospect. Someone he wants to be just as important to him as his sisters, if not more. Someone who never had to hurt him so he would notice her and kept hurting him. And yeah, unlike Ronnie Ann, Stella never had to force her way into his life. Like, Lincoln just happened to like her. Someone he wasn't pressured or coerced into dating, sometimes not even for his own sake. Pretty much all the time. Like, let's be real. If Ronnie Ann and Lincoln are ever on bad terms again, would Bobby break up with Lori again? Because straight up, that is not a healthy way. That is not a healthy relationship, even for a pair of 11-year-olds. And someone who we have... They don't eat wood, but they need to chew hard things to file down their teeth. You know what? I think my idea still applies. What I'm trying to say still applies. The detail of that moment, it still applies. As time went on, become one of his most cherished friends. I've made it clear enough that I have the utmost respect and admiration for Ronnie Ann's character growth, and that's exactly why I believe she and Lincoln should stay as friends. Because the evidence has shown that what they have now is for the best. And more importantly in this case, what they wanted. Like I said, Ronnie Ann, initially, like I said yesterday, initially it seemed like the only reason she tried to befriend Lincoln, more or less, was because she presumably believed that if Bobby was so happy with the Loud sister, she would be happy with the Loud brother. But eventually, it's well implied that she realized that she doesn't need to be with him romantically to be happy, but she still appreciates his friendship for whatever it was worth. But I have to digress. Normally the saying, "you're perfect just the way you are," is cliche and disingenuous, but all things considered, this is one of the rare times where it's appropriate, especially coming from someone as sweet as Lenny. Even then, the sisters came up with their own adjectives for him, and every single one of them felt completely earned. Like, every sister in this moment, they say they give him a compliment, or more or less. And if you've seen every episode until this point, if you remember it, if you remember what if you can think about what they might be referring to, it all adds up.
You're
But in case if I'm being too vague, I'll just let the editing speak for itself.
perfect just the way you
Just
are.
watch. Just watch.
You're kind. You're fashionable. You're rockin'. You're funny. You're tough. You're deep. You're friendly. You're smart.
And for good measure, we got Lily's
Except for Lily's, but that's a whole nother story.
best cute moment.
You yanking out.
Like, god damn it, bro. That is just... It feels a little too saccharine. You know what? No. Some people might misinterpret it as being a little too sentimental, but I think it's just a perfect amount in this particular context. Like, honestly, this episode... This show has never made me outright cry, but this moment, it really warmed my heart in the best of ways.
Wait a minute. A main character realizing that being himself is more than enough for what he's striving for? This show did in 9 minutes what took Ruby a whole fucking season.
Seriously, Ruby nowadays is same problems as the Loud House. It's been going on for way too long with no real or genuine character development. But straight up, it holds the same message as season 9. If you gotta do what you got, if there's something you want to accomplish, then you just gotta be yourself.
Striving for? This show did in 9 minutes what
And it's not really preachy about it in any capacity.
took Ruby a whole fucking season. He gets to the bus in time, barely. The new girl happens to be sitting alone. He introduces himself.
Yeah. The fact that Stella is still sitting alone, even though Lincoln was almost late to the bus, it almost feels like narratively and from the perspective of the writers, it was meant to be, but for some reason... Okay, you know what? We'll get to it in a moment, because I actually talk about it in the video.
Gets a genuine laugh out of her by roasting himself.
Okay, that is funny, though. He straight up calls himself a human traffic cone, and you know what? Tell me I'm not the only one who sees it, with the white and the orange. I'm sorry, that's just funny, bro.
They share a snack, and the episode ends on a gentle but perfectly sweet note.
Like, I don't get it. You got this whole allegory with the bunnies. You have so much character development in this episode. But they didn't even try with Lincoln and Stella. Yeah, Rooster Teeth is gone. The studio behind Ruby, it more or less got taken down. Ruby got picked up, and apparently season 10 is underway. It's still in the writing process, but it is going to take its sweet time. And if the past is any indication, it's going to be really underwhelming. I really don't have my hopes high, to say the least.
Ronnie Ann is off doing her own thing. Or at least, essentially, she still is.
Canonically, Ronnie Ann is still living in Great Lake City. She's gone, and she straight up admitted she doesn't like Lincoln romantically. And I know a lot of people are more or less, a lot of audiences are more or less invested in Lincoln's love life. So they're all hoping it amounts to something, but look where we are now. 9 seasons in, and pretty much nothing, which is kind of sad. Like, just because he's a kid doesn't mean he's not allowed to be in a relationship, man.
Their bond has become compellingly platonic, and wouldn't you know it, a new girl shows up and believably becomes one of Lincoln's closest friends. It's as if the stars were aligned for Lincoln, and oh my god, could this...
Straight up. Everything about this episode in the narrative, it felt like it was set up so poetically. And when you think of the saying, the stars were aligned, the girl's name literally means star. Like, I don't know. That can't just be a coincidence, can it? It's not like they picked a random name out of a hat to name this new girl. Right? At least I hope not.
Be any more perfect?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when I realized that, I was straight up thinking of that meme of Kronk. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
All coming together.
When the episode...
And apparently I'm not alone in that regard. They have their own BFF anniversary. If that doesn't say that Lincoln and Ronnie Ann do not be a romantic couple to be a good pair, I don't know. Yeah, they have like a whole friend-iversary in the comics. But for some reason, in the first couple of frames of it, they're blushing like crazy. Almost as if it's meant to be romantic, which makes no sense in the narrative. But I've talked about that. I've talked about that in my latest video, actually, for a brief moment near the end. But we're not here for that right now.
is so good that the fan-made follow-ups are just as engaging.
Straight up. Like I said yesterday, fan fiction in general, not my cup of tea. It just feels... It just doesn't sit right with me. It just doesn't sit right when a fan is writing
a narrative. It feels like most of the time they just write it out of spite or because they're just letting their imagination go crazy in the weirdest of ways. But this is the one time where I can genuinely appreciate fanfiction because it just doesn't feel right that Lincoln and Stella's romantic relationship was never explored. A romantic bond between them was never directly explored because it was set up so masterfully.
Well, at the time, and not every line.
And keep in mind, that was written in 2019. So pretty much right after, about a year after White Hair this episode aired. I don't know. But the point is, I'm glad I'm not alone in thinking that, yeah, Stellakin should have happened at some point.
And this is coming from someone who usually scoffs at the mere idea of fanfiction.
Like I said, fanfiction, not my cup of tea. But this guy, Master Rob, the author, whatever his name is. Yeah, Master Rob, he pulled through. He pulled through. He actually won me over with what he was writing.
Unlike No Such Luck, fanfiction for this episode was made out of appreciation rather than contempt.
Yeah. People wrote good fanfiction for this episode because they actually liked the episode that much. Not because they actually hated it that much. It's like the straight up opposite of No Such Luck.
It's like this whole episode is an
It's Ellis for Love done right. It got so much positive reception, it accomplished the opposite effect of No Such Luck. Deadass.
to some of the bad ones. It's really just that amazing.
Yeah, Revamp got deleted, and this might make me sound like a dick, but good riddance. That whole idea, that whole fanfiction, straight up, the longest piece of literature in the world. And it's just a self-insert OC screwing around with the louds. Like, really, man? How old is this person? Like, don't you have something better to do with your life? Like, I don't know. Feels a little sad, to say the least.
The reason I said before that Lincoln and Stella is the base fanship. It respects canon and the characters, it's genuine, and it's overall just outright endearing.
Like, straight up, they have so much chemistry. They bring out the best in each other. And isn't that what people want out of a romantic relationship? Someone who brings out the best in you, doesn't think any less of you despite your shortcomings. Like, I don't know. I'm not really an expert on love. I've only ever been in one relationship, and, well, let me put it this way. It did not end in a nice way.
It's the Dipper and Pacifica of the Loud House. Not the lead's first.
The anti No Such Luck. Exactly.
Pairing, but definitely the best and healthiest. The setup was so masterful that this shipping platonic six.
Also, I really love this drawing, by the way. I know Takie Hiro, or however you pronounce his name. Let's just say a lot of his artwork is inappropriate, but this, and I know he wrote this for like a fan fiction or something, but God, man, my heart just melts at this shot. The background, the colors, I don't know, man. Is it weird for me to be admiring a relationship between two 12-year-olds? Is it? You know what? The less I talk about it, the better.
Seasons later makes me think
but I just really love this drawing, man.
the showrunners just quit on the idea. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not saying this because of the events of Be Stella My Heart.
I got a few problems with this episode, but for the sake of the optimism in this video, I did not talk about it. Yeah, Dipper and Pacifica, they deserved it. I know Gravity Falls is never going to get rebooted. Assuming Alex Hirsch sticks to his principles, but at the same time, it's still a bit of a missed opportunity.
That episode served as an essential and healthy setback. Yeah, they just met her that day, man. Of course it's not a date, and she didn't want any of them to be her boyfriend.
Straight up. Like, I could understand the messaging of the episode more or less. Like, yeah, Lincoln, you just met the girl. Don't expect her to go out with you immediately. And you know what? If it weren't for a couple of things that I'm going to get into in this video soon enough, I could genuinely respect that message. But hold on, guys. Hold on.
The only reason they were under that impression in the first place was because of Rusty.
And yeah, the only reason Lincoln jumped to that conclusion in the first place was because his wannabe Casanova of a friend was like, dog, it's obvious she wants to go out with one of us. She doesn't want to be our friend. She wants wants one of us to be her boyfriend. Like, I get why Lincoln and his friends did what they did, but at the same time, from the writer's perspective, it just doesn't sit right with me.
And I talk about it at the end of my latest video, if you guys want to check that out.
Lincoln trusts him as a friend, but he's also the guy so delusionally confident with girls, the one time he's actually successful with them is when he resorts to literal dark magic.
Straight up. Why would you listen to Rusty in the first place? You know how much of a cocky moron he is, to the point where he brags about getting with a lot of girls, but I think Lincoln is the kind of person who would see right through that bullshit. Especially when you consider this episode. Literally the one time he lands a date is because he's using dark magic. He is straight up brainwashing the girl in question.
At this point in time, Rusty didn't have enough evidence to support and establish that reputation, so it makes sense that Lincoln and his friends bought into the idea. Even if Stella's feelings were mutual at this point, her character has shown that she's smart enough to know that it would have been too soon anyways.
Yeah, straight up. Even if Stella had feelings for Lincoln, which, okay, I'm reaching, but hypothetically, for all we know, she could. But even if at this point it was love at first sight for her as well, I think she's smart enough and prudent enough to realize, wait, I just met this guy. It would have been way too soon. Like, I get it why they didn't get together immediately. I completely understand that. But it's been 6 seasons, man. We are 6 seasons in. What the hell are we doing?
All this episode shows is that the writers were biding their time properly with this pairing, and that while it was love at first sight for Lincoln, and maybe even for Stella, he cares about who she is rather than just what she is.
Yeah. I'm glad that they were building a friendship to start between them, but most of the time, whenever Stella is on screen, she's more or less just a part of Lincoln's friend group, not someone Lincoln cherishes as anything more, which, honestly, it's kind of sad when you think about it.
The only time he couldn't was when he was unintentionally tricked into it.
How do I feel wearing glasses? I don't really wear glasses as a whole. Never needed them, surprisingly. I'm a huge dork who plays a lot of video games, reads a lot of books, and spends a lot of time in front of a computer, even at work, especially at work, but somehow I've never needed glasses.
As for the present, I'm no expert on feelings, but even I know they don't go away that easily. At least, coincidentally, just...
Yeah. Just because Stella said, I don't want a boyfriend, or something along those lines. Just because Lincoln and his friends learned their lesson here, I feel like... Okay, you know what? I don't feel like. I know for a fact that that doesn't mean Lincoln would stop falling in love with her, to say the least. Like, I was 11 years old at a certain point in my life. If a girl told me she didn't want me to be her boyfriend, primarily because I just met her, I'll still be her friend, but that doesn't mean my feelings will go away, to say the least.
in the case of Lincoln. Clyde and Rusty have moved on to other girls. Liam's chemistry with Lynn is apparent enough, to say the least.
But we know how that turned out.
And knowing Zach, he'd probably mistake Stella for an alien imposter if she really felt anything for him. He's done worse for the sake of his conspiracies, and even then, it's clear enough that if she's meant to be with anyone, it's Lincoln.
Yeah, they set him up so spectacularly, and they did nothing with it. I see. Fan fictions show more love compared to the show, to be honest. Yeah, not just romantic love, just love and passion for the show in general. Like, honestly, it's kind of sad.
Otherwise, well, one of the best episodes in the whole series, and the protagonist's character development up until that point, ultimately, served no real purpose.
Straight up. Arguably the epitome of Lincoln's character development. One of the best, if not the best episode in the series, in my opinion. Straight up, what's the point of all that if you're not going to continue those ideas?
Maybe there's a reason Lincoln didn't
Rocky was the best of the two brothers and they've completely forgot about him? Yeah, we straight up haven't seen Rocky since season 2.
ask her to the Valentine's dance.
Yeah, we had a whole Valentine's dance. And honestly, as much as I appreciate the bond between Clyde and Chloe, another romantic relationship that they did nothing with, as much as I appreciate the pairing, it would have made for some really interesting drama to see how Lincoln feels about asking out Stella. Way better than what they did with Ronnie Ann at that other dance, to say the least.
Dance. Maybe there's a reason Stella and Ronnie Ann have canonically never met. Yeah. Like, imagine how much traction the show would gain just from these two meeting and one of them being jealous over Lincoln. Like, I know Ronnie Ann doesn't like Lincoln romantically anymore, but to see him hang out with another girl, I feel like that would draw a lot of attention on her end.
Even to this day, maybe there's a reason he's afraid of pursuing her romantically in general. The last time he did, he almost lost all of his friends, and this time, that might include her. From Lincoln's point of view, it feels like too much of a minefield when you think about it. And I get what it's like to have that kind of fear.
Yep. Back when I was 11, I definitely was the kind of kid who was too afraid to ask out his crush. And nowadays, in my late 20s and I'm still single, yeah, I kind of regret it. Not gonna lie. You never know where life will take you guys. Even when you're just a kid, if you hold a close friendship with someone you're in love with, then eventually you should probably find out what it means.
You could argue he really loves her
Or at least what it means to you.
at this point in time, and for all he knows, the feeling is mutual. But the real question is, will this leap of faith ever come?
Are they ever going to address this? Are they ever going to care? Are they ever going to care about what they set up here instead of taking it for granted? I have my own theories in that regard, and we'll get to it.
Remember how I said in the last video that this franchise doesn't know what it wants? Well, this is by far the most egregious example. Ronnie Ann moves away. Lincoln forms a new love interest. Ronnie Ann makes it explicitly clear that she's happy as Lincoln's friend. It all adds up, and we may as well dump the ambitions of that pervert now that we see why that was also questionable.
Yeah, straight up. People like to tell me, oh, Chris Savino is redeemed. Oh, he never shipped Lincoln and Ronnie Ann. But he straight up admitted that Lincoln's endgame is with Ronnie Ann. At least that was his intention. Secondly, when you take into account how they started, it just has some really messed up connotations. She picked on him because she wanted to get his attention. He puts up with it because his sisters tell him the same thing because she might like him romantically. And it turns out the reason Savino got fired is because he started blacklisting all the women that he started hitting on, more or less. Like the flirting, whatever it was completely consensual, but when the women wanted him to stop, he straight up sabotaged their careers. Just like how Lincoln was forced to go on a date with Ronnie Ann the moment he stood up to her bullying. Like, I'm sorry, the allegory is just way too fucked up, man, for me to actually condone Lincoln and Ronnie Ann in good conscience. Have I ever watched Invader Zim? Not a lot of it, to be honest.
And yet, the ball was hardly rolling with Stella. She lacked traction as a result. She gets sidelined almost permanently, even in the live-action version.
Straight up. I get why Trinity Jolie Bliss had to leave the show because apparently she was a side character on James Cameron's Avatar. But at the same time, they didn't recast her. Even though they recast several other characters in the Really Loud House. Lynn got recast, Bobby got recast, Sam got recast, but for some reason not Stella. And as far as the main show is concerned, she hardly got any episodes. She got one in season 4. She got nothing in season 5. She got one in season 6. Like, if you're going to introduce a new character, I feel like she deserves a little more attention than that. Especially when it's the protagonist's love interest. But for some reason, the narrative pretends that he never had any feelings for her.
Traction as a result, she gets sidelined almost permanently. Even in the live-action version, they add another girl to the group that actually comes off as a friend immediately.
There's also the whole issue with Kara. Like, straight up. The only reason, and Chris Savino admitted this, the only reason they introduced Stella as a whole is because, they were thinking, Ronnie Ann's gone. Lincoln needs another girl in his friend group. But then they also added Kara. So that just makes Stella even less special. To the point where it's kind of insulting.
Sidelining Stella even further, while keeping up the will they, won't they nonsense with Ronnie Ann.
Yeah, this is that comic I was talking about earlier. The Friendiversary. Why are they blushing? They're just friends.
And pairing Lincoln with yet another new girl in the live.
And they didn't even try in the live action version. They just paired her with yet another new girl. And also, I just didn't like the character of
I know I said I don't like a lot of the Really Loud House, but straight up, I'm not a fan of Charlie. Or at the very least, how they broke up. Action? What the hell? The shipping was there. I did not have to do anything for the shipping to be there. I did not have to ship them myself. The show straight up did it, and they literally just abandoned ship. Like, what are we doing? That's why it made me so... That's why it all made me so angry. Enough of this romantic purgatory. Just trust the truth of the narrative and... And according to Savino, somebody said earlier in chat, apparently it was meant to end around season 4 or season 5. It wasn't... This show was never meant to have that many seasons. But at the same time, Savino wanted Lincoln to end up with Ronnie Ann. So, either way, the narrative doesn't sit right with me. Let the boy be happy. Yeah, shipping wars suck. I hate getting wrapped up with them, but this is a glaring... This injustice is so glaring that I felt the need to give my take on it, at the very least. Thanks, Savino, for making the ship that I like more a bad parallel. Yeah. Kara was, in fact, the new Ronnie Ann, more or less. I don't know why they just didn't... I don't know. You know what? Only time will tell. I don't know what they're going to do with Ronnie Ann, but she more or less got a finale through the Casa Grandes movie. A really bad finale, but a finale nonetheless. So, we'll see how it goes. It's not enough to commit to ideas, which you don't anyways. Straight up. Lori went to college, and 1 semester later, she's back. For a gap year. You gotta put thought into your ideas to know they're good, and put faith in them because you've had several this whole time. And I'm not just talking about the romances. Suddenly, Lincoln's newest nerd fixation is David Steele, and the old one's rarely mentioned again. Time and time again. Rest in peace, A Savvy. What? Was one bad episode all it took? Straight up. After Kings of the Con, one of their worst episodes, we never get another A Savvy episode ever again. Lori's off to college? Great. Oh, she's back after just 1 semester for a gap year. Okay, they're not even trying to hide it. Enough of this flip-flopping. Straight up. It's like I said, this franchise just doesn't know what it wants. Forget about what you think is popular and what isn't. That's not paying off anyways. And just worry about telling stories that actually feel real for these characters. There are ways to show growth and progress that aren't just what time passing implies. I never thought Lenny would get her driver's license, and yet there she was 5 seasons later. I never thought Misty's Togepi would evolve in the 3 seasons he knew he could. Okay, I know I'm being a little broad with the examples here, but at the same time, I still think they get my point across. Yeah. Does this show have a timeline or not? Because it just straight up feels like nothing gets accomplished in the narrative nowadays. They just don't want to continue stories. They just want to keep making more stories up for the hell of it. Just because they need to fulfill a quota for Nickelodeon. Assuming the show really even makes them any money nowadays. I feel like Nickelodeon nowadays is just in that spot where SpongeBob is their only big money maker, for better or worse. Even though it happens through the most recurring theme in the franchise. Straight up. Misty has had her Togepi since season 2 of the Pokemon series, of the Pokemon anime. I think season 1 even. Togepi straight up evolves through friendship. We've known it's possible since the 2nd generation of Pokemon, and for some reason it didn't happen until Generation 3. Yet there he was in season 7 after being gone. I don't know whether to find it funny or sad knowing how Invader Zim creator, a man who writes horror comics for a living, is a less controversial figure at Nickelodeon than Chris Savino. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a repertoire, an artistic repertoire to say the least, having range in your artistry. Like, we all know why Chris Savino is controversial. For a whole season. I never thought I'd see Sora get into Smash Bros. Despite his dominance in all the popularity polls. Yeah, straight up, everywhere I went, everywhere I saw a popularity poll, even the official ones, which were confirmed, like, if y'all played Super Smash Brothers, like back in the Wii U days, they released a Smash Fighter, a ballot. Basically, you could tell the developers who you wanted in Smash Bros. And apparently, the most popular choice was Sora. Sora from Kingdom Hearts was dominating all the polls, even the official ones. So for a long time, I was thinking to myself, when the hell is Sora getting into Smash Bros? So when he was the last fighter from Smash Bros. Ultimate,
I straight up thought to myself, finally. Like, thank God. And not just because I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. To say the least. Do you think Quiet on the Set hit them hard? What, Nickelodeon? Definitely. It definitely... Like, I don't know. We were already very familiar with all the slimy perverts that used to work there. But the fact that there was that many victims, that many testimonies... Drake Bell, like... Poor Drake... Like, Dan Schneider, Chris Savino... Drake Bell's testimonies, Jeanette McCurdy, like, that place is just crawling with so many victims, but most of them, we already had an idea of what was going on, unfortunately. So, but at the same time, yeah, Nickelodeon's reputation is still in the toilet, even today. Savvy equals Savino? Maybe, John. Maybe that's why they just completely scrapped it all together, but if that's why... Maybe it'd be better if you didn't, so we wouldn't fall into the impression that that's why. I don't know. We're just a theory.
I thought I'd spent what was left of my childhood thinking Phineas and Isabella's connection would never be explored from his perspective, and yet, there they were in 2015.
Yeah. Phineas and Ferb started in 2007. Even from the first couple episodes, back when I was a kid, I was like, okay, I totally ship these two. They gotta get together someday. And it took them 8 years to actually write an episode where that actually happens.
In short, I never thought I'd see all these natural conclusions become a reality. So I don't believe this should be any different.
Yeah. White hair dropped in like what? Mid 2018, I want to say? We're in 2025. It's not too late to say the least.
This might seem presumptuous, but I'm tired of writers and executives that insist that loving someone being part of your character is seen as a bad thing, because that's definitely not the case here.
Straight up. Just judging from the messaging behind Be Stella My Heart, it feels like the writers were telling me, oh, it's wrong for you to fall in love with a girl you just met. Like, dude, really? That's your biggest takeaway?
There's really no shame in having feelings for someone you genuinely care about.
Like, if a girl you think is pretty, go for it. If you think a guy is pretty, go for it. Like, try. Like, don't just keep your heart in the right place. It's that simple. Lincoln definitely does, but for some reason, the writers would disagree in that regard. Or at the very least, it feels that way.
So can this narrative please stop acting like there is? It has treated Lincoln and Stella's connection like it's nothing special, even though just from the potency of what led to them meeting, it's the opposite of that. As for what's the holdup, my best conjecture is that this idea was neglected because this was the last episode Chris Savino wrote and was involved in before being rightfully fired.
Well, we all know how that turned out. Like I said, according to the Q&A, which I linked in the description of this video, Savino doesn't care. He never interpreted Stella romantically, but he always saw Lincoln as staying with Ronnie Yan for whatever that was worth. And we all know why that. We more or less know why that is.
And I get it. A love story written by him can't possibly be pure or genuine. And they're right. Because ironically, he confessed in a Q&A after his termination that somehow all of this wasn't romantic. Lincoln's endgame pairing in his eyes is still Ronnie Yan, and he sees Stella as little more than a diversity token for the friend group.
It might sound like I'm crazy, but no. He straight up admitted. Oh, Stella, he straight up said, oh, Stella needed a friend. Lincoln's friend group needed a girl, and Ronnie Yan was gone. And for some reason, it seemed like they were trying with Girl Jordan at first. There's a couple episodes in season 2. Between the time Ronnie Yan moved away and Stella showed up, it seemed like they were trying with Girl Jordan. But I guess some of the executives at Nickelodeon pressured them into introducing another non-white girl to the group for whatever reason. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say Girl Jordan could have been the female friend in Lincoln's friend group, and Stella could have been her own thing. But for some reason, they try to mix and match. It's dumb. They just completely scrap Girl Jordan altogether. Imagine if they made a Meet the Robinsons episode where Phineas and Isabella's kids time travel back to meet present Phineas and Ferb. I guess that would be kind of interesting.
That's how you get your sick kicks.
Like, straight up, why am I not surprised that a sex offender took a character like this for granted? Like, the fact that he took all these women for granted, and the fact, like, he got fired from Nickelodeon for essentially abusing women and taking them for granted. Why am I not surprised that he does the same to the fictional ones that he creates? Like, straight up.
Suddenly, Ronnie Ann and Lori's toxic behavior in the first season makes a lot more sense. Why am I not surprised that a corrupt sex offender doesn't recognize a good romance even when he wrote the setup himself?
He wrote it himself. He showed so, like, I'm so conflicted, man. This is the best episode. I think this is the best episode in the whole series, but it was written by such a morally oblivious pervert, to say the least. Like, you see how conflicted I am? You see why I have such a problem admitting that I'm a fan of the show,
Yep.
let alone respecting it?
Him? None of this was ultimately romantic because God forbid the protagonist not end up with a girl he was practically groomed into being with.
Never mind the fact that, yeah, the parallel between Lincoln and Ronnie Yan, it just parallels his behavior. The behavior that got him fired from Nickelodeon. And honestly, that makes me so uncomfortable, man. Do you think he said some of that stuff in the Q&A because he was mad and didn't really mean it or something else? I mean, this Q&A is from like 2022, over almost 5 years after he got fired. I feel like he had nothing left to lose. I feel like he had no reason to not be honest there. He had no reason to save face, to be honest.
Go yourself.
Like, straight up, maybe I could be wrong about his intentions, but so far, I'm not putting any faith in any of them.
I wouldn't blame the showrunners if they refuse to humor him in any way, and to the point where they're not even aware of this interview. Heck, if it weren't for dumb luck and the Wayback Machine,
Yeah. By dumb luck, I found this interview on YouTube, but it got deleted a while back, so I had to use the Wayback Machine to be able to find it. And it's dumb luck that the link to the video is on Stella's entry in the Loud House wiki. Like, straight up, I had to go through extreme measures to be able to find this interview and to be able to link it in the description.
I wouldn't either. If that's really the issue, though, what's stopping them then? I never thought I'd say this, but Twitter was right. Friends to lovers really is the best kind of romance.
Straight up. This could have been, like, it's the protagonist's love life. Any good writer would realize that you shouldn't take that for granted. And somehow, this show has done it time and again. Not just for the protagonist, for a lot of other characters. Lynn and Liam, Clyde and Chloe, Lenny and Gavin. Like, they just trivialize... Okay. For lack of a better expression, they trivialize love.
When it's done right. You didn't even...
And like I said, they completely botched Sam. Like, straight up, they released Racing Hearts. 2 months later, oh, Luna and Sam were friends all along before they started dating. Blah, blah, blah. Like, bull freaking shit. Honestly.
Go away. Don't misunderstand, though. I know all too well how shipping can screw over a franchise, and it arguably already has here. But, ironically, this might be the one time where it'll do more good than harm, if any harm at all.
Straight up. This fandom and a lot of other fandoms in popular kids shows, they have a serious problem with shipping, to say the least. Like, it is just way too prominent of a subject. But in this particular instance with Lincoln and Stella, it's the one time where I can actually get behind it in good conscience.
With what we know and what's been established between Lincoln and Stella, and after all they've been through together and with their friends, it's not too late. Unlike another pairing that, admittedly, I'm getting a little tired of mentioning.
Yep. Even Video Me is tired of talking about Sam.
This one isn't a narrative disaster or anything resembling it.
See? It's not just you.
more or less
It's not just you, Frost. It's not just you. Even Video Me agrees with you.
unfinished. No damage control, no arbitrary emptiness, and no bullshit. It's wild how Allison Stoner went from voicing an S-tier love interest and a
Straight up. Allison Stoner, she voices a lot of characters I adore, but Sam is not one of those characters, I'll tell you that much.
character I adore to a trash-tier love interest that I genuinely resent. Lincoln and Stella's bond never pretended to be something that it isn't. Two characters who for a long time now have been an...
Wait, hold on. Play that. So, show me that again. Show me that timestamp again. February 2nd, 2018. They wrote the setup 7 years ago. and they still did nothing with it, more or less.
Long time now have been an important and believable part of each other's lives because we've seen it all from day one, rather than just making contrived implications that, ironically, make them look worse in the narrative. And we can actually believe that this can organically grow into something even bigger. Something that doesn't undermine real growth through a shoehorned DeviantArt.
Okay, Hernan, don't be ridiculous, my guy. That's not what I meant, but sure, man.
See, that had no genuine business being anything more than just a friend.
Straight up. If it was just a friendship they were trying to establish between Luna and Sam, I get it. If people want to ship them after that, that's on them. But straight up, it pretends to be romantic when more or less it really did not give me that impression whatsoever. At least not in an organic fashion.
A pair of characters that we've grown to both love and have truthfully earned it. It's not the first time a 12-year-old on Nickelodeon was part of an incredible love story across multiple seasons.
Yeah, Aang and Katara is pretty based.
Or an incredible story in general.
Avatar in general is based. And Aang is the same age as Lincoln, so if people are like, oh, they're too young or something along those lines, like, that's no excuse for Nickelodeon.
The goat!
But we can think even bigger than this. These showrunners can't stop what the fandom is most notoriously known for, but here is a chance to discourage it in the best way official content can.
Straight up. I don't want to say that a healthy relationship in canon is gonna put an end to all the dirty stuff this fandom is known for. Let me put it that way. But still, based on what? Frost, shut up. I hate it when people say that. It's funny, but
While showing slow but tremendous continuity.
Yeah, after 7 years? If they actually get Lincoln and Stella together after 7 years, like, the continuity would just spike through the roof, man. Know what I mean?
And a sense of artistic faith and ideas that have been here for a very long time. Ironically...
Oh, Hernan, you were being literal. Oh God, I thought you were just making a dumb pun. I am so sorry, Hernan. And here I was laughing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were talking about romantic shipping. I thought you were just saying it for the pun. I thought you were just saying it for the pun, but now you said no pun intended. Oh my God, I feel so stupid now. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, man.
The last episodes of Eno Row could actually sabotage his most shallow intentions. I mentioned before that Stella deserves to be utilized in more ways than she has, and this is what I meant. How often is the narrative focused on them alone rather than lumping her in with his friends?
Basically all the time. Straight up. I know I'm saying straight up a lot, but you know what? That's really just me agreeing with myself. And so far, the reason I'm making these reactions to my own videos is so I can self-reflect. And every time I say straight up, it's just my way of saying that I stand by what I said, more or less.
Rhetorical question. That's practically been all the time, and so far, it's getting worse. Don't get me wrong, though. They've had moments here and there, and I appreciate the fact that she genuinely gets along with the whole squad. But all things considered, and I'm trying to mean this humbly, maybe this shouldn't be all it amounts to.
Like, guys, does this feel good enough? Like, I appreciate that the fact that Stella gets along with all of her friends. Maybe a good plot device would be seeing how she interacts with Lincoln's sisters, but they just straight up do nothing with this character.
It's not too late to go in a direction that has felt completely deserved for a very long time now. Especially since it would very likely spark a lot of interest.
Yeah. If there's one way to give a show a lot of popularity, it's definitely a romantic interest for the lead, to say the least.
Take it from someone who paid no real attention to this franchise until about a year ago.
Yeah, Hernan, pensé que lo hiciste a propósito. I thought you did it on purpose. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry for just being so dismissive initially.
How do you think I, of all people, got into Gravity Falls?
Yeah, straight up. Everyone and their grandmothers was talking about Dipper and Pacifica, and at least on the internet, and that's how I got into Gravity Falls.
And well, as far as that franchise is concerned, look where I am with it now.
And straight up, I ended up liking Gravity Falls so much that for its 10th anniversary, I made a retrospective about the show. Back when I had little to no editing experience, back when I didn't have a decent mic, back when I really didn't have a lot of means to be a content creator. In this landscape, this episode, and the other episodes, I don't see why they're shipping them, but at the same time, there's no context to it. What do you mean, John?
Do you think I only like it just because of Dipper and Pacifica? Or because the characters are actually something worth appreciating?
Bro, this one moment in this one Gravity Falls episode, not what he seems. Oof. Absolute cinema.
Outside of, say, branding or an ensemble of tropes. Sometimes you...
Did you buy the Bill Cipher book? Not yet. I think there's a special edition dropping in a couple of months, and I want to get that one. I think I'm going to pre-order it if I get the chance. We'll see.
Just need a narrative hook to bring people into better ideas, and this might just be it. Or this might just be both.
Straight up. This might just be the saving grace the show has been looking for, but I'm just a fan giving my opinions on the internet. What are the odds that someone from Nickelodeon is actually listening to my video and actually going to listen to what I have to say?
Does this show want the respect it had in its early seasons? Does it want to stop stagnating in the obscurity and infamy that destroyed its reputation? Does it want its most recent season premieres and whatnot to stop bombing?
Frost, as a native Mexican, I can tell you right now, yeah, Even I'm not comfortable with myself when I'm angry in Spanish.
Start treating your characters more like actual people with stories instead of props for settings. That's what Slice of Life is ultimately all about. And maybe this is by far the first.
I will say this. Javi Susumiya, he draws a lot of NSFW, but when he draws wholesome stuff, it's really wholesome. And this is a prime example of that.
And best step forward. What better way to move on from its creator's disgrace than by definitively discarding, arguably, his most popular ambition for the protagonist? Does his show want the tweets and the fan art?
Yeah. All these years later, keep in mind, Avatar The Last Airbender ended in 2008, and people are still making fan art of Aang and Katara. There are whole Twitter accounts dedicated to just Aang and Katara. Like, straight up, it's a great way to keep your show relevant, to say the least. It's even years, over a decade after it ended.
Art that reaches thousands of likes in minimal time? Or is it going to keep letting itself get associated with mediocrity and incest of all things? I genuinely can't remember the last time, or any time at all, a tweet about this show garnered so much positive reception.
Legitimately. 90% of all the YouTube videos I've seen of the Loud House, they're not there to talk positively about it. Not on YouTube, not on Twitter, not even on its subreddit, more or less.
Remember that Robin analogy I made at the start of the last video? Well, the metaphor goes deeper than I thought. He was genetically born as a vessel for an apocalypse.
It's crazy to think that the Nintendo app saying Mario and Peach were only good friends was actually a mistranslation. Wait, was it a mistranslation? Because I know a lot of people were in shambles about that. Because on the Japanese app, it says that Mario and Peach are a couple. Damn right they are. All those rescues, all of those interactions, and you mean to tell all those kisses, and you mean to tell me that they're not a couple? Yeah, no. Cut the crap, Nintendo of America. Cut the crap, NOA.
Monster, and he had a choice to make.
Hernan, if I'm being honest, Javi doesn't seem like the kind of guy who genuinely has a disturbing mentality. I feel like most of what he just does it either for a living or because he likes getting he likes getting a rise out of people on the internet, to say the least. Just judging from what I've seen on his Twitter, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who does it because he's genuinely that. Let me put it this way. Deranged? Yeah, let's go with that.
Either kill him permanently with his own magic and blood and potentially die with him, or cop out with a holy weapon and put him to sleep for 1,000 years, willing his wrath on his descendants. So, what's it gonna be for this white-haired tactician?
No more bullshit. Okay, Frost, what part of the video are you on? Wait, it's a live stream. I'm guessing you're a little behind. Okay, are people just going through the VOD, trying to be thorough with the whole stream? Because I feel like a lot of people are commenting about stuff
that I talked about 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes ago. Anyways.
Will these showrunners take respectable risks with storylines that any real fan would want to see after all these years?
Straight up. Some of us, if not all of us, want to see what goes on between Lincoln and Stella or between Lincoln and Ronnie Ant. Like, just give us something interesting, man. Not dragons, not time travel, none of that. Just good old slice of life drama. Like, is that so much to ask? Especially in this kind of context.
And realize that he's not defined by his corrupt creator?
Like, take a risk. Like, this show's reputation is in the toilet. For all we know, it might get canceled sometime soon because, let's be real, this ratings are also in the toilet. Like, you got nothing to lose. Like, take a leap.
Or keep living in fear and settle for run-of-the-mill plots and predictability that'll ultimately mean nothing. If Season 9's synopsis are any indication, it seems like the latter so far. A character that basically started off as a girlfriend and evolved into, ironically, the best of friends, and a character that started off as the best of friends and maybe evolves into his girlfriend.
Like, that is such a crazy parallel. That is such a crazy parallel. And you mean to tell me they've done nothing with it? They have so much potential for interactions between characters, character development. So much, well, for lack of a better term, poetry. Artistic poetry. And still we got nothing.
A girl that shows too much confidence for her own good, and one that needed to build some. There's just so much potential for so many great storylines right in front of them for well over 7 years now, and nothing has been done with it? But what do I know? I'm just a Mexican dude with a film degree, extensive knowledge of the series, and dreams of becoming a writer, so maybe I'm in over my head.
Okay, for what it's worth, I'm just a rando on the internet giving opinions, but at the same time, I do have some credentials to back it up. I did study film production in college. I do have my bachelor's. And I've seen enough of the show to understand what's going on with it, to say the least. So I don't know. For whatever my opinion is worth, I would put some stock in it, to say the least. Why can't they do like a treehouse horror thing and make anthologies like The Simpsons if they want to do sci-fi fantasy stuff? That's not a bad idea, Tails. That's really not a bad idea. It definitely would make the supernatural gimmick seem a lot less jarring. At least when they're not passed off as canon. Lazy people in Nickelodeon because they only care about SpongeBob. Yeah. That's why I hope they don't do the same with Lenny and River. Hey, if Lenny and Gavin is any indication, I'm not getting my hopes up, to say the least. It's sad the kids don't have a good Nick show. Yeah. That's why if I ever have kids, most of the time, if I'm gonna show them something that's airing publicly nowadays, a new show that's airing at the time, I feel like most of the time as I'm raising my kids, I'm just going to show them what I watched growing up. Just because most of it is actually, like, our generation, Gen Z, millennials, and whatever, we had it good back in the day. Seasons 1 through 3 of SpongeBob, seasons 1 through, I want to say 4, Fairly Odd Parents, Gravity Falls. We had a lot of good stuff back in the day, guys. And they've really, not to be too picky, but studios nowadays really have failed at replicating that magic.
After nearly 8 seasons, I've seen time and again who these characters are, and there's more than enough good not just in them, but in the series as a whole. And I want to believe these narrative oversights can be owned up to healthily. It's not really even a matter of pure faith. Even with Savino's creative direction gone, how many good episodes mentioned in this video did he have zero or minimal involvement in?
Yeah, even with Savino got fired in like 2017. I want to say the last of his involvement was like late season 3, late season 4, like before season 5, before the time skip. But even then, in my opinion, at the very least, we got a handful of decent episodes. Like, more or less, maybe you don't need him for this show to regain its former glory. Sometimes I have good knowledge as of analyzing videos for movie types if there's any errors while reacting to them. Yeah.
Rhetorical question, by the way. All I know is that with acknowledgement of what's good and bad, knowing your characters and who they grow into, focusing on ideas that bring real joy to audiences, and complementing that well enough with new ones, then maybe this franchise can actually earn some respect back. In terms of fictional narratives and
Tails, you're going to have to be a little more specific for me to give my opinion.
more importantly here, real-world issues. Bad things do happen, but no matter what, we should learn something from it. We can't wallow in the pain of the consequences. Otherwise, it'll define us to a fault, and we can't move on while we let that last. As the Latin saying goes,
Ad astra per aspera.
Through hardship to the stars.
Like I said, Stella's name, Stella literally means star in Latin. Like I keep saying, there's just so much poetry behind even just the name of this character. Like, there is just so much potential, and they've done nothing with it. They still can, but what are the odds that they're ever gonna even consider it? And that's the end of the video, guys. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I had a lot of fun making this video, this one in particular. Like, it's nice to be able to be optimistic when it comes to making videos, because let's be real, the other two Loud House videos I made, they provoked a lot of negativity in me, to say the least. Puss in Boots 2, GOAT, great, absolutely goated. One of my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time. Wild Ones, never heard of it. Bad Guys 2, I've never even seen the first one, but I've heard from people it's really good. The new TMNT movie, you mean Mutant Mayhem, whatever it's called? I don't know. I haven't seen it either. Maybe someday, but I will say this though, as far as Nickelodeon or Paramount movies are concerned, Transformers 1, definitely absolutely amazing. One of the best animated movies I've seen in a while. But yeah, guys, with that said, next weekend, like I said, guys, next weekend I'll be completely gone. No streams next weekend because I will be at Anaheim for Pokemon Worlds. The weekend after that, though, we'll be back with my third and presumably last Loud House video. If y'all have seen it already, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But with that, I'll show my kids codename Kids Next Door. Yo, Jorge, based. Kids Next Door is my favorite Cartoon Network show. No cap. But gosh, guys, is there hope for this show? Like, this whole video, I feel like it was a little too optimistic for its own good, but it holds a lot of merit. The Wild Robot, I definitely do want to see The Wild Robot. It's on American Netflix. You know what, Tails? You asked me earlier if I had a VPN. I might just get a VPN alone, because I know The Wild Robot is on American Netflix, but not the Mexican one. But, anywho. As far as... I'll be ending stream soon, guys. But for next week, Joker 2... John, you and I both know that is not a good movie. Like, I don't know, guys. I want to be optimistic about the show, but so far, they have not given me that impression whatsoever. And I more or less go into detail as to why that is with my next video, to say the least. But that'll have to wait because, one, it's 6:15 p.m. I have to get ready for work tomorrow. Next weekend, I won't be able to stream whatsoever because I'll be at Anaheim for Pokemon Worlds. But after that, the weekend after that, we're definitely going to break it all down. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for the stream. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my incentive to keep streaming, to say the least. But my gosh, guys, the fact that there are so many of you here, 12 to be exact, at least so many by my standards, the fact that there are so many of you here just talking about the Loud House here with me, reacting to my videos, which feels a little conceited, but at the same time, y'all are here for it. Like, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. If it weren't for the company, if it weren't for the loyalty of you, if it weren't for you guys' loyalty, I would have no incentive to be doing this. So thank you guys so much for your support and whatnot. But with that being said, oh, Hernan, I'm not competing. I'm just a spectator. But the fact of the matter is, this kind of event, it usually doesn't. It happens once in a. It's dumb luck that it's happening so close to in the United States. Like, most of the time, it happens in last year it was in Japan. The year before that, it was in London. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I was lucky enough to be able to get a ticket. What about character analysis video? Maybe there's something I could do in the future, but for now, guys, maybe we'll see. We'll see how things go with the Loud House. Who knows if I'll make more videos. Like, more or less,
it just comes down to inspiration on my end. But with that being said, guys, I gotta head out. It's getting late. I gotta shower to head to work tomorrow. I gotta rest up. I gotta have dinner because I've only had breakfast. I guess I'm technically having lunch. So with that being said, guys, that's gonna be it for the stream. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. As always, if your heart so desires, hit that like button and subscribe. I will be back Saturday, August 23rd, I believe. Yeah. All I know is all of next weekend, I'm going to be out of town for more or less a brief vacation. And y'all already know on the weekdays, I'm too busy working to be able to stream. So with that being said, guys, once again, I'm Siba signing out. Take care, guys. Bye.